Yo, we back in the building, baby. Hip Hop Talks. AG. Cool. What it do, fellas?
What up? What up?
Yo.
How y'all
Before we
doing?
get in, doing great, bro. It's a great Thursday. It's release Thursday.
No
Release night
doubt.
Thursday. We're gonna get into all of that. I'm
Yeah.
ready. I'm ready. It's Big Queens tonight. It's gonna be a Queens night. I'm sorry. We're gonna adopt
Okay.
y'all for the night, but it's Big Queens
Okay.
night.
So it was Park Hill. It was Park Hill last week, and now we back to
Park Hill
Queens.
last week.
Right.
So Staten
Now-
Island, now Queens. So we got 2 of the 5 covered. Okay.
Yes.
No doubt.
I'm not bringing Brooklyn in here. I'm not bringing the Bronx. Park Hill is a cousin of Queens, so we're gonna keep it right there. We give Brooklyn his props, but that's where it stops. You know what I mean?
Hey, just real quick, my grandfather actually is technically from Red Hook. Yeah, but I mean, but he grew up in Youngstown though. Like my pops and their side of the tribe is from Youngstown, but got busted to move to Red Hook for a little bit back in the day.
Yeah, they get busy.
Don't count Brooklyn. Don't count Brooklyn all the way out.
I got you. Big Queens, baby. Yo, shout out to our streaming partners. Shout out to Apple. Shout out to Spotify. Shout out to iHeart, and shout out to Amazon Prime. You all can pick us up on all of those platforms moving forward. They're rocking with us. Shout out to my homie in iHeart. We're looking out for the kid. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. And thank you to all of you who's hopping in for tonight. We got a great show tonight. We're going to get into it. We're going to get in some big Nas talk, some big Queens talk, Primo talk. We got Coop's Corner. We got AG throwing some stuff out there. We got a whole show tonight. But we're going to kick everything off with a merch legend. One of the guys, he's from Big Queens as well, Jamaica, Queens. We got Eric in the house tonight. He's going to bring on a special guest on his side as well. So, Eric, if you out there, you're waiting, we're going to bring you on real quick, bro. And we're going to get into that talk. Let me see if I can pull him up real quick. He should be backstage right now. We got everybody coming in the room. The room is building up.
Eric, yo, salute to the chat.
Yeah. We got the chat up. We got the chat live right now. Queens get the money. Queens Wolf. Cool. You got anything you want to say to us before we get this thing off with Eric? Anything you want to say, man?
No, I mean, I have a lot to say today. I'm going to wait to kind of get to our topics and keep it organized. Like, I don't want to go too far off on a tangent, but just, this is a glorious time for hip hop to be able to look back and start to celebrate some of the things that we're going to celebrate and talk about today. We're going to have a lot of relationship talk. We're going to have a lot of hip hop talk. And I want to have some culture piece talks today because, obviously the album that we're about to talk about that's about to turn 30 is the barometer for so many things. And I'm just excited to be in a position to talk about these things. You know what I'm saying? And to talk about them with knowledgeable brothers such as yourself. And, I don't know. Okay, so real quick, I mean, me and Queens niggas go back. I went to college with a lot of Queens niggas, so I don't know what it's always been my whole life with me and all you Queens dudes. You know what I'm saying? And even my favorite MC coming from Queens, but there's always been this connection with me and dudes from Queens, and even cats from Queens have always been telling me my whole life they like Cooper, you more like one of us a lot of the time. You know what I'm saying? So
no doubt, you got that Queens mentality, man. You talk that Queens talk. Not that West Virginia talk, whatever that is. No disrespect, AG. No disrespect at all. It's all
I'm gonna let you live, Sean. I might give you one more of those.
Yo, real quick. You want to hear a quick sidebar? Back in the day, back in Greensboro, the best weed we used to get actually used to come from this white girl that used to go to school with us from West Virginia. She used to bring down the best weed from West Virginia.
I believe it.
I believe that. West Virginia is wild, man. Yeah, I think, let me see if Eric is good. He's getting stuff set up.
Well, if you want, I mean, if he still needs a little bit more time, I can kind of get into my Coop's Corner thing right quick, or if you want.
Yeah. Let's do Coop's Corner. Let's go into Coop's Corner.
Let's do it.
Okay, I mean, because this is not hip hop related, so we're going to be all over the place. I saw a lot of people when O.J. Simpson died, say a lot of incendiary things about the man, but there's something about the man that I think people are missing, and that he's the godfather essentially of social media. Okay. Before OJ Simpson, you really didn't know what was going on behind the scenes in the life of a star. Like, nobody knew that David Ruffin was slapping broads up and like doing a quarter key a day. Nobody knew Miles Davis was beating his wife with the trumpet at night after the shows. And so OJ Simpson and what happened to OJ, and I say this because the media did it intentionally, because at one point he was the most popular black man in America, and it was definitely a concerted effort by the media to tear him down. A whole network now exists because of the OJ trial. That's Court TV. But before OJ and the OJ trial, we didn't know what our stars did behind the scenes. And so when you look at social media today and how invasive it is and how much a part of our lives it is, we actually have OJ to thank for better and for worse of it, because he's actually the real start of social media, because we didn't pry into our stars' lives until OJ allegedly. And so I just want to say that. What are your responses to that? I got one more, but I want to see what y'all feel about that sentiment.
What you got, AG?
I mean, yeah, after his death the other day, it was a lot of mixed reactions, you know what I'm saying, as far as like the social media community. And based on the reactions, you can kind of tell, you know, which side they were on. You know, I don't want to word it like that, picking sides, but at the end of the day, you know, I mean, man can rest in peace, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, once it's beyond the grave, you know what I mean? If he did, if he didn't, whatever, you know what I mean? I think you should let that man rest and respect it, you know what I mean?
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yo, I agree. I'm glad that Cam and Mace was able to show that side of OJ before OJ left Earth, right? Because I think that, you know, we came through we were on the same age group. We came through that era when OJ was in that Bronco being chased, right? And we remember that trial. That stuff was stood out to us. I was in junior high when that happened. So that was the depiction that America had of OJ since that time up until his demise, to his death. And I think Cam and Mace did a phenomenal job by bringing him back to the social media realm. Because like you mentioned, Coop, he is the godfather of social media. You know what I mean? Before social media became social media, OJ was the inception of that. If you really think about it, from an athlete, someone who actually got into entertainment. He was in the Naked Guns, did all the great things. OJ was the one. He was the one. And they kind of made a mockery out of OJ over the years because they chastised and ridiculed him. But that takes nothing away from OJ's legacy. And I'm glad that Cam and Mace did a great job by being able to shed light on that as well.
So here's something that we need to remember. This is somebody that had Barry Sanders, Gale Sayers-like gracefulness, with Earl Campbell, Jim Brown style power. He is still to this day one of the 10 greatest running backs who ever lived, and he's closer to top 5 than he is to back end of the 10. The only guys that I think are better than OJ Simpson as far as like running back, like Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, Jim Brown, are the only running backs that I can tell you for certain are better than OJ.
Yep.
The rest of it's up for debate. And also people forget the fact that OJ was actually Magic Johnson before Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan. And think about this. In 1974, we're not even 10 years removed from having Civil Rights Act passed. OJ had over 20 endorsements in 1974.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was that dude.
Yeah. He was.
Now, he didn't always rep this community properly, but
no.
We've had that issue long before OJ ever popped up, though.
He's not the first.
Right. I mean, a lot of people don't know this. We had that problem in Black Wall Street. Part of what tore Black Wall Street down before the white people literally burned it down was the fact that one of the brothers wasn't representing right and wanted to spend too much time with the white folks.
Yeah.
So this is a systemic issue that we've had in our community for a long time, long before OJ.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I kind of wanted to point out right quick, fellas, I mean, I think everybody knows I'm a KD guy, right?
Yep.
So tell me, why is it okay for Steph Curry to miss the playoffs 3 of the last 5 years and nobody says a word about it? Why is it okay for LeBron James to be in the play-in every single year pretty much he's been with the Lakers and nobody says a word about it? Do you know the type of shit Kevin Durant would get if he missed the playoffs 3 of the last 5 years? or if he found himself in the play-in tournament every year like LeBron is. Now, this goes back to the media again. This is why I kind of brought up OJ and then kind of segued to this. The media controls the narrative more than they realize. Instead of talking about how this is unacceptable for somebody that you call a top 10 player all time and Steph, what top 10 player missing the playoff 3 out of 5 seasons? Yeah. And so when people
not media friendly.
He's not media friendly, but he's better than Steph. And he's closer to LeBron than people think. Because here's the reality of the matter. Of the 3 of them, you know who hasn't played in the play-in tournament yet? Do you know who has been in the playoffs every year pretty much for the past 14 years that he's been healthy? Yeah. And so I just want people to understand this is like, oh no, I'm not riding coattails. I'm paying attention to the narrative. If this guy is a top 10 player all time, show me the other top 10 player in the prime of their career, albeit at the end of their prime, where it would be okay for them to miss the playoffs 3 out of 5 years.
Well, the irony of Bron, when they first announced the change in rules for the play-in tournament, he was one of the main people that spoke out against it. He's been playing in every year since. So that's kind of ironic.
He's benefited from it since. Yeah.
Right.
And here's the other thing, too. When the hell is Steph beating a healthy LeBron team with him being the best player? Because the only time he really beat LeBron was when KD was there. Because that first ring, Kyrie and Kevin Love got hurt. He still ain't beat LeBron in no real playoff series because LeBron just whooped their ass the other year.
Mm-hmm.
So we just need to be mindful as media members how we're like really auditing these circumstances. You know, these are the 3 best players of our generation, but one of them has missed the playoffs 3 of the last 5 years, and the other one's in the play-in tournament of the year. And the third one is the guy that nobody really cares for because of the media dissemination, but he keeps finding himself in the playoffs. The Denver Nuggets won the NBA championship last year. You know how many games they lost? They lost 4 games all playoffs. Guess who 2 of those games came against, guys?
Yeah, KD.
When he had only played with the team for 15 games. Yeah. So we need to be highlighting the other side of things a little bit more. It's like Phoenix is actually the only team that even gave Denver a challenge last year. And that was without KD knowing the system.
They don't like KD. They never like KD. They don't like KD. So they're not going to get behind
after the Golden State move, that's when it shifted.
Yeah, but you can say the same for LeBron going to Miami, LeBron going back to Cleveland, LeBron going to the Lakers.
No, fam. We can go back to Moses Malone and Dr. J teaming up on the Sixers team. Did nobody say no shit about Moses Malone leaving Houston and going to Philadelphia? Dr. J was there. You know, somebody that at the time was considered to be a top 5 to 10 player all time. Moses Malone, who had already won 2 MVP awards in Houston. Did anybody say anything when him and Dr. J teamed up?
No.
So we got to stop this narrative like KD is the first person to jump shit like that. We got to stop that narrative. Right. Wilt Chamberlain left and teamed up with fucking Elgin Baylor and Jerry West. Wilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been happening forever. KD's not the first. He's just the guy from this generation that gets singled out for it. But when Wilt did it, did nobody say nothing when Wilt went to the Lakers? Did nobody say nothing when Moses?
But he's not media friendly, and they had that against him. But the caveat that they'll tell you is because he lost to that team the year prior. You know, if that wasn't the case, then I don't think we having the same conversation. You know what I mean? Because that never happened with any of those other situations where you jumped on the team that beat you the year prior in the playoffs.
I think people forget this. First of all, Oklahoma City wasn't favored in that series.
No.
They really weren't. No.
They weren't favored in that series. Most people didn't even think that series was going 7 games.
Right.
Now, there was this guy playing point guard that got severely outplayed by the other point guard in the series. But nobody says anything about him. His legacy is still intact. People still love him. And then there's the fact I know Clay has declined, but Clay's Game 6 performance against OKC in that series is one of the greatest playoff performances of all time. It happens. You know what I'm saying? Like if people don't like the move, talk to the league, talk to the union about the salary cap. Golden State just found the glitch in the matrix and was like, "Oh, we got enough money for KD." Yank. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that game is what won them the series at Game 6.
Yeah, Game 6 is what won it.
Yeah. I watched that joint in the casino. Everybody was going crazy. Some people got rich off that game, for real.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So Eric just hit me. He's ready. Y'all ready to bring Eric up?
No doubt. Let's do
get it. Eric, Queens, get the money.
Come on, y'all. It's the King Where's New Era. Like, who where? Come on. Y'all know. Ain't no one better.
We can't hear you, bro.
Can you hear me? Y'all hear me?
We can barely hear you.
I think he froze.
He froze on us. How about now?
I'm good.
We can barely hear you, Eric.
Y'all can't hear me?
You real low. Nah, you real low, fam.
Let me take the AirPods out. Let me see.
All right.
Yeah, that's better. I
That's
heard
better.
you say that.
Y'all hear me good?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You froze. You froze.
All right,
We can
what's
hear
up,
you.
man? It's the King Where's New Era. Like, who's better? Come on, Big Queens. We here. Taking over.
Yeah, that's big Queens energy. We don't need to see you. We can feel the Queens.
So, Eric, talk to us, man. Tell people who you are, man. Where you from? What you about? Tell them who you are, fam.
So what's good, y'all? It's the King Where's New Era. I'm a hat designer, rapper, entertainer. You know, I like to say I'm an entrepreneur. Watch your mouth. And I work very hard. I like to network. I like to talk to people. I like music. I like art, dancing. So my focus is connecting people with all those parts of the culture. Big Queens, come on.
No doubt. What's some of the work you've done, fam? Talk about some of the work you've done, man. You being humble right now. It's not Big Queens. You're being humble right now.
Yeah, I'm taking over. So I've been designing for about 4 years, since about 2019, 2020. And I got a bunch of collaborations with stores all over the world. We talking Hat Club, Sports World, 165 on Jamaica Avenue, 95 North over in Connecticut, Home Game Tokyo out there in Japan, Home Game NYC out here in New York. You know, I make music, so you know that's in my veins. I'm the son of Casanova Rudd, part of the group Casanova Rudd Super Lover C. That's my father. I love him dearly. He living vicariously through me, so I'm making sure I do all the right moves. But I've been working hard, working on hats, designing, doing a lot of collaborations, shaking hands, taking photos, smiling, you know what I mean, kissing babies, you know, the things, doing the things that I gotta do. So, but I'm very fortunate at this position I'm at, and I'm trying to give back, and that's my main purpose right now.
No doubt. No doubt. What inspires you, bro? Is it your father legacy that inspires you to do the music now? Because you've been putting it down heavy for the fashion. We got to show them some of your work, because you've been doing crazy work with these hats, especially for Nas and others out there.
You talking about my children? My children.
That's what I want to see. Yo, pull it up. We need that Katie series hat, man. Pull that shit up and start playing with us.
Well, I got that King Disease 2 on. You know the big guy himself. I had to get him one. I've been locked in here with him probably since like maybe early 2022. Nas had probably rock. I think he rocked the blue icy joint. This is the first hat I ever did with Hat Club. Shout out to T800 John and Hat Club. They hit me up to do a hat, and I sent one out to Nas so he could rock it on tour, and he loved it. So we said, yo, let's get something together. We cooked something up, and I came out with the King Disease 2. I don't have something on hand to show you guys, but I also did something for the Streets Disciple, and then I got a King's Disease 3. So I'm super big Nas fan. Even though I'm from Astoria Projects, Jamaica, Queens, I'm super big Nas fan. I always been inspired by his hustle, and I can't front. He just got that rhyme scheme. You gotta like, hold on, what he said? Hold on, whoa, you feel me? So I know something, and I had to add him to my collaborations when I was doing hats. And I'm super big on cartoons, anime. So for the youngins, I got stuff for y'all too. I do a lot of inspirations for artists, Mary J. Blige, the Doobie Brothers. Like, yeah, I go back. You know what I mean?
No doubt. Cool. AG, you got a question for Eric? Anything y'all got for Eric?
I got a statement followed into a question. I mean, one of the things that Nas is notorious for is for repping Queens, not only like on the mic, but in business ventures, and putting a lot of people from Queens in the game in various aspects and various situations. Now I know you're from Southside, right? You're from Southside Queens. So how did that relationship forge itself? Like, when's the first time you met Nas? How did this whole hat thing with him come together? Like, can you explain the process of that? And can we get your link so that the people in the chat know where to come check your shit out at?
So I'm in the basement. Literally, I'm from Queens. I mean, I'm a nobody from Queens. I can't lie. But yeah. So it's the King Wears New Era on everything. The King Wears New Era on IG. The King Wears New Era on Twitter. Such and such. Same thing for the email. How it came together was it was real simple. The G Code hit me up. Gabriel, shout out Gabe. He hit me up, said, "Lo, like I need some hats. Let's cook something up." I sent them a couple joints, and then it came to a point where they was like nah, like you going too crazy. Like, let's do something specific. So we cooked up something, and they threw the cosign, and I was excited, man. Once he told me he threw it on, he went out eating dinner, sent me a photo in it. I was ecstatic, but I can't live off those type of accolades. I gotta keep going. So I said, what can I do after that? I connected Erica Ford and Supreme and Griff Jr. for a shoot we did out there at the Nas mural, and it was beautiful because I was already kind of connected to that. The store I'm working with in Home Game, there's a DJ. His name is they might know him as TK, but his name is Teddy King, and he worked with a lot of people that I'm working with now, and it's just very coincidental. So when I told him I was doing a shoot at the Nas mural, he said, "Yo, that's very funny because my good friend Eddie, he actually cooked that up." And he did one of the other murals, but I think it was they had to take it down because it was getting messed up too much. But it's crazy how I didn't even know this guy through a hole in the wall, and he just hits me up and says, "Yo, let's cook up," and then I make something, bring it over here, and it's all connected. It's all Queens natives, and it's stuff is not planned, but my intentions is always there. Like my reason to do it is like it feels better to connect Queens. Like I always felt like the Brooklyn stands up, they stand so close to each other. The Bronx, when they stand up, they stand so close to each other. So I said, how can I recreate that effect but keep it Queens? So I've been trying to connect with natives, connect with the right people. I've been campaigning. I've been doing a lot of giving back, and I'm focused on keeping my stuff primarily Queens because it just feels more special. You know what I mean? Like we don't got a lot of leaders in my field, so I'm trying to stand up and show these people like, listen, you could design, you could do something creative, you could be artsy, and still be the swaggy dude. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Or peace, Eric. We know that hip hop and merch go kind of hand in hand, right? So you talked about the joints you did for Nas. So you're a rapper yourself. Do you plan on doing any limited edition pieces or collections to coincide with some stuff that you release?
Yeah, I had a couple ideas about that. Me and my father was speaking about that. It all gotta make sense. I don't want it to be like a gimmick thing when I'm trying to coin it. But I do have some stuff inspired by some of my music, and I already wear my designs in all my music videos. So that I'm like the brand ambassador, even though I'm the designer. But I definitely do have some stuff inspired by my music, as well as some stuff inspired by my people's music. So I'm making sure everybody got merch to represent, because the fitted is real important. That's like, I mean, it's like damn near shorty walking around with the purse. Where my fitted at? So and I call them crowns because I'm not just the king, but I don't try to say I'm the king wears new era. Like, I'm the king. I'm saying if you got this crown on, you the king wearing new era, or you the queen wearing new era. My stuff, it started early 2019. I was trying to figure out a name. I said, what really sticks to me, and I had a couple ideas, and then something clicked. I remember every Sunday growing up, my older sister used to kill me with the Devil Wears Prada, and it got to the point where I'm knowing lines, and that's not me. You know what I mean? So, I said, "Yo, it was a playful memory," and I said, "How can I flip that?" And I came with the King Wears New Era, and I love Anne Hathaway. She's a wonderful actress, a fashionable icon, and I just been real focused on trying to have clarity with what I do. Like, I everything I do, I always say like this is fun, but from the great words of shout out J Tips, he always said, we not happy to be here. We supposed to be here.
Close to.
So I make sure everything I do is right. You know what I mean? I give myself affirmation. I give myself reassurance. Big Queens.
Big Queens.
That's dope.
Big Queens.
I'm Big Queens. Can I ask you something right quick? So I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and the nickname for Charlotte is called Queen City. And our logo is actually a crown. Can I get you to step outside of your Queens box? Maybe get me a little Queen City action? Can I get some Queen City?
For sure. I mean, I'm the king of New Orleans, so stores hit me up and they tell me like, yo, we might need this team, we might need that team. So I make other teams. There's some other joints, but mainly I enjoy making mess hats. It just, I mean, no Yankees though. I ain't got no Yankees. But I make I'm a Braves fan. As long as they they hit me up.
Nah, keep it Mets. Keep it Mets. Keep it Queens. Keep it Queens, man. Not little Charlotte. Keep it Queens. Respectfully. Yo, Eric, tell us about your music coming up.
I got a couple joints coming up. I'm working on a song. I think it's produced by Eddie Rivers. Shout out Eddie Rivers. He's holding it down for the city right now. I gotta be honest. There's a lot of guys in my town that's really doing anything, and they inspire me to work. And I'm going crazy. I just got my wisdom teeth taken out. I'm ready to sing, baby. I'm ready to rap, ready to tap dance, whatever you need. So I'm focused. But this is a battery, man. And then I know I haven't said it already, but thank you guys so much for having me. It's already been a pleasure.
No doubt, bro. It's love. Thank you for coming up here. Yo, is your father have you in boot camp, getting you ready? Because that's some big shoes to fill. He got you in boot camp.
He got this mindset where he came up in a time where it's considered the golden era. The NWA, so the Kid and Play, Salt and Pepper era. So you had to be a star. You know what I mean? You had to be a dude with finesse. You had to be like an AI. It's no practice. You just go straight in. And I know sometimes he tells me things and it's like, to get my mind right on it, but it's gotta be me. It's gotta be my swag, it's gotta be me, it's gotta be my walk. But for the most part, I'm taking down all the wisdom. I'm hearing him out. He give me a lot of social media training. He gives me a lot of everyday advice, and he's my best friend. You know what I mean? I feel like he's my son.
No doubt. Yo, Nas shouted your father, the group out in Durags. You know what I mean? Actor was pumping Super Lover C and Casanova. That tells you, where his legend lies in hip hop. You know what I mean?
He was shouted out in Eminem's Hall of Fame speech as well.
Yep. In the Eminem Hall of Fame speech. Yes. 88. I mean, he came through that class, and Coop knows about 88. AG knows about 88. That was a heavy year. You know what I mean? That was the first golden era of hip hop before we got to the 90s. And your father was in the middle of all of that. Does that inspire you as an artist to say, I got legacy here?
You'd be surprised, man. I sometimes, like, it's something to get emotional about. Sometimes I look at his milestones. I may see like a Billboard chart. Like it's here. Like I like he got his space, but it's mine. If that makes sense.
It's facts.
Like you won already. Let me have it. Let me keep your trophy. I can look at that. That's something for me. Like he's passed down some of his stuff, like some of his old records that's never been taken out the plastic. I got it hanging on my wall. But it's super inspiring to the fact that it's in my veins, man. Like it's close. Like even if I don't do music, I'm in music. I'm so close to it where I don't want to leave. I'm dancing to it. I'm singing to it, and I can't stop making music. As much as I say I can't stop making hats. So him seeing all the stuff, I got some of the posters from events he did. I got some of the lost tapes, but it inspires me because I was like, wow, this is my father. He never pushed me exactly to make music, so it wasn't like, oh yeah, I got to make music. It came on my own terms, and him allowing me to do music on my own terms, and then coming to me like, yo, whatever you need, I can help you. I can engineer a little bit, or I piece it together, or I know some producers, or I know a studio. Oh, check this spot out. I used to be here. Like I'm listening. I definitely listen, and he teaches me every day with small conversations. It be moments. We be laughing about party moments, little fight. Get rowdy. You be the fly rapping pretty boy. So what happens? You gotta stand your ground, and it just gives me purpose. Like, yo, if you want to do this, you could do this, and you are gonna do this. So just stay focused, stay grounded. Make sure you're aware of your foundation. Be aware of the people around you. Make sure your circle's tight, and stay humble. That's all you could do. Big Queens.
Big Queens. Big
Sure.
Queens. Yo,
Let
does
me
your
ask you-
father have the Acura Legend still? Does he still have the Acura? Is it in the driveway? Talk to me.
Listen, he got a couple toys. All right, that's like asking MJ if he still got a free throw.
Yo, that's
You know what I
crazy.
mean? Like, it's there. The Jimmy is there.
So look,
Yo.
so my first whip was actually an '89 Acura Legend.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my first whip, was an '89 Acura Legend. Because that was one of the cars when I was growing up that, if like the dudes that was fly from the neighborhood used to have those. So as soon as like it was the mid '90s and I had me like a little money to even go to an auction and cop one of those, I had to get one of those. I had one with the little kid in it and the sunroof, butterscotch seats. I remember the Act Legend. But let me ask you this. You kind of grew up around this game, but how would you define your style as an MC? Like where your inspirations come from outside of your father, and like how would we classify your style and your style of music?
I'm very like open, very off rip when you hear my music. I talk about my relationships with past women. I talk about my relationship with my lady right now. I talk about the struggle that I've gone through with trying to figure out music. I talk about trying to stand my ground as being a hat designer, but still letting people know, like, listen, I make music. Don't get it twisted, but I'm just trying to take it to a different lane now and be professional. And I would say it's like love. It's love based. It's romance, but it's party. It's like party romance. And in simple terms, they call it sexy drill because you're not really dissing nobody. You dissing your lady or you dissing your ex lady. So it's like it's stuff it's very relatable. It's stuff that's true to me. So you get to learn about me when you hear just a couple of my songs like Biddy Bop. You listen to She Love, you listen to Hitman. It's a couple joints that break it down, and you see the growth as well. You see when I could start where I might have been a little bit insecure one bit, and then I get my swag together, and I'm like, oh snap, like I'm him. I'm on my Hitman. You know what I mean? So it's a couple different phases through my music, and I'm at a point now where I'm comfortable with speaking and not being afraid to say like the stuff I want to. Like I'm not scared to talk about some violence, or I'm not scared to talk about some love that hurt me. So I'm open to make music. It's there. So like I said, it's like romance, party romance, sexy drill, they call it.
Okay, so you got some Drake and some Future in you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Pluto and a little bit of Aubrey in there, you could say. I say my inspirations directly, because I'm not. I want to say I haven't done my homework enough to be like, oh yeah, my top 5 is very specific. But I say my inspiration is Mike Jack. I'm a big fan of Lil Wayne. His longevity is crazy. Um, I'm a big fan of like I said, some older cats like Marvin Gaye, the Whisperers, the Doobie Brothers. Um, I like to stay true to older stuff, especially because newer stuff might influence me to talk different or sound different. So I try to stay to the stuff that I was already growing up with, so I keep my sound. And even then, I listen to some of my older songs. So, and me and my father got like 30, 40 songs before I actually started making music. So sometimes when I can't figure out a flow, don't tell nobody. I go back and listen to my old stuff and I steal my old flows.
Wow. Wow.
Yo, I got a question. Can you compare and contrast your writing process as an MC to your designer process? Like, what kind of space do you like to be in? and those sorts of things, does it differ from one another when you in your designing bag versus when you in your, you know what I'm saying, tapping into your MC bag?
I feel like my MC bag is a different pocket you kind of gotta dig into, cause like you gotta have a certain like vernacular as an MC. You can't be bashful because the people will see that. You know what I mean? The crowd eats you as an MC, even if you're not in front of a crowd. You know what I mean? You could be in this little screen. You get eaten up if you got a weak confidence, or so you can't be weak. So I have a certain confidence when I make music. It's straightforward. But when I make hats, I feel like I'm a lot more thoughtful. Like I don't care about getting judged. So I just go straight for the crazy ideas, and then if people pick up on it, that's that. But the music is my art. I always felt like it's more organic that way. If I worry about somebody else's opinion, it'll alter the way I think about my own music. I'll be doubtful. So I try to stay true. Like, I like this. Boom, keep pushing. Oh, boom, I like this. Boom, keep pushing. And that way, you just keep working. That's the whole thing. The whole key I learned. Just keep working, man. Don't stop, and don't even talk about it. Just keep working, 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 working. You got so much stuff. You could pick out the stuff you like the most. And that's how you do it. That's how people make these projects. That's how these fashion brands put these lines together, these seasons, they so call it. And that's how people stay. You got to be very organized. And that my hat stuff is organized, and then my music stuff is like on the fly. Because I feel good when I'm doing the music. I feel very great. But when I'm doing the hats, I gotta sit down and say to people, like, what can I do for the people? Do I want to do something for the community? Do I want to do something like? Do I want to make an awareness tag? Do I want to stop the violence? Do I want to do something scrapping? Go back to a busy hat? It's really just up to how I like it. I tell them need something pink hat for the ladies. Ooh, hey, they drop the Expo, the Comic Con, whatever. I want to do a Goku hat. Akira Toriyama as well too, the Dragon Ball Z creator. My intentions is clear, man. Like when I'm in my MC bag, I'm boom, go straight for it. But the hat bag, I gotta be careful. Gotta be a lot more thoughtful, meticulous.
All right, that's what's up, man. Thank you.
No doubt. Cool. Any other questions for Eric?
No, I just want to thank you for sharing all this with us. You got great energy and a bright future. I can see why Nas fucks with you. I see, you ain't too far off the family tree. So I just want to wish you like much blessings and much success. When we get done with the show, I'm gonna find out what the hell sexy drill is. I'm probably gonna ask my daughter. Somebody gotta explain that shit to me. I'm gonna give you some OG energy. Somebody gotta explain to me what sexy drill is. I just got acquainted with drill in the last couple of years. Now you hit me with the sexy drill. You young niggas be coming up with wild shit.
Yeah, for real. For real. That's a different
easy way to break it down. They got some of the originators. I'll just shout them out too before we even break it down. It's real quick. Cash Cobain, he's the dominator of that. He's the creator of sexy drill. Chow Lee, Lonnie Love, Payroll. We talk about Matthew Ali, Tally, Space Leave, New Sachi. The community is big, but sexy drill is basically, you know how you got drill and it's a lot of beef going on and they dissing people and such shouldn't be going on. Whatever. Sexy drill is talking about love. So we dissing the dudes that's messing with chicks. We dissing the chicks and they love it. And it's a matter of just being playful. It's party music. You know what I mean? It's nothing disrespectful. Everybody having fun. You don't gotta worry about nothing crazy. Everybody good. And it's super fun. It's like I said, I feel like I'm the new Casino Rudd. You know what I mean? Girls, I got them locked.
I heard girls, I got a lot. Okay.
Pump it up.
Yeah, those AG anthems right there. Those are AG anthems. Pump it up. That's his anthem. Yo, Eric, we appreciate you, bro. We're gonna definitely put your music on the station head. In our rotation. We're definitely gonna put your tags and everything in the chat so everybody know where to find you. I need to hit you up on the side though. I need to get those hats really soon so I can wear them on the show. But
I'm gonna figure out something. I'm gonna send something to all you guys. So don't even worry about that. We're gonna put something together. Y'all all gonna get something.
That's
Appreciate
love.
it.
That's
okay.
love.
Yeah.
That's love.
Get me a hip hop talks hat. They got a crown on it that says "sexy drill" on the side.
Yeah. Yo,
I got
don't do
you.
what West Virginia had though. Don't do West Virginia has. We don't do that here.
That's two, Sean. You got one more.
My
that's
bad. My bad, bro. My bad.
that's two.
Yo, Eric, we appreciate you, bro. Yo, salute to you, salute to your father, salute to your movement, salute to the hats. Yo, we looking forward to seeing you blow up. By next year, we're not gonna be able to afford you, fam. So we got to get it in your paws right now.
Hey,
Why you still
Don't worry, you know the family
Eric.
What's going on?
I just want you to let the people know what your handle is and where they can find you one more time.
No doubt. Yes,
For sure.
sir.
If you're looking for my music, let's start there because we here. Music is at a beautiful place right now. 50 years. Shout it out. You can find me at all platforms: King of Queens, Spotify, iTunes, Apple, everything, YouTube. You looking for me on Instagram? It's the King Wears New Era. You looking for me on Twitter? It's the King Wears New Era. You looking for me anywhere else? The King Wears New Era. If you're trying to find me outside, I'm outside in Queens. I love y'all. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's the King Wears New Era. I'm out of here.
No doubt. Appreciate you, bro. Big Queens. Yo. So, Coop, let's keep it moving, man. I'm going to flip it back to you, Coop. Talk about Rico Wade.
You know, we lost the legend down here in Rico Wade. Here's the best way I could juxtapose it for somebody like for our New York following, Sean. Imagine if Marley Marl were to pass away. That's what losing Rico Wade in Atlanta is like. That's like losing Marley Marl up there. He is the architect of our sound that we're now world renowned for. You know, he is the centerpiece of the Dungeon family. He is the creator of the Dungeon family. When Andre is talking on elevators and he says, you know, a couple of years ago on Headland and Delow, that's Rico Wade's mama house. That's where the Dungeon started. That's not Andre's crib. Andre talking about. He talking about the Dungeon. That's Rico Wade mama house.
No doubt.
So we lost the architect. We lost the innovator. We lost the legend. We lost a wonderful producer and production mind. You have to understand, for us down here, we never, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, we never wanted to sound like New Yorkers. We just wanted to take interpretations of the piece of hip hop and add to it. And so what Rico Wade did that was so innovative, especially for the time when you look at it, is that, well, he took the samples and the scratches that came from the New York DJs and producers, and then he paired it with live instrumentation.
No doubt.
And so that's what you find on Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music, is that you find the boom bap sample in the scratch mixed with the live instrumentation. That's Rico Wade. That's the sound of the Dungeon family. That's the sound of the organized noise. That's the sound of Southern hip hop. And so we lost our hip hop architect who defined our sound and defined our region for us.
Right.
And so it's a big loss. Like, the city has been extremely sad and it's still sad. It's everywhere. And it's one of those things, you know, for those of us, like I've always said this, and we're about to talk about it because the albums were released a week apart. Illmatic was released 1 week before Southern Playalistic was the same year.
Yep.
Illmatic was the album that made me want to rap. Southern Playalistic is the album that made me believe that I could rap because I knew where those dudes were from. You know what I mean? Like, my mom's friend went to try with Big Boy. You know what I'm saying? And so Rico Wade is so integral to the sound and the legend of Outkast, Goody Mob, the whole Dungeon family crew. A lot of people don't know this. Rico Wade is Future's cousin. That's part of how Future ended up being second generation Dungeon family. Rico is Future's cousin. A lot of people don't know that. And so he's so integral. A lot of people don't know. The Don't Let Go song from the In Vogue soundtrack. That's Organized Noise. That's Rico Wade. Waterfalls by TLC. That's Rico Wade and Organized Noise. He's the architect of these things. Two of the best 5 albums that ever came out of the South, all produced by Organized Noise, and in my opinion, and that would be Southern Playalistic and Soul Food. I would put The Diary and Aquemini and whatever your 5th album would be. Mine would probably be The Carter 2, like depending on or 400 Degrees. But so important to the sound. I just want to go down some of the other tracks that he produced. First of all, Organized Noise produced all of Soul Food, Goody Mob's first effort, and all of Southern Playalistic. Has in every fucking record. But a lot of people don't know that they were an integral part of all the stuff that came after. I just want to run down some records that Organized Noise produced right quick, if I may.
Yep.
Two Dope Boys in a Cadillac, Jazzy Bell, Babylon, Waylon, Decatur Psalm, Mainstream, Millennium, 13th Floor. That's half of ATLians. On Aquemini, Return of the Gangster, Skew It on the Barbie with Raekwon, West Savannah, Mamacita. That's all Organized Noise. So Fresh, So Clean off Stankonia. Spaghetti Junction, which was probably the best pure hip hop song on Stankonia. We Love These Hoes, which is a personal favorite. I still sing the hook that We Love These Hoes. Did most of Still Standing too, along with Mr. DJ, Goody Mob's second album. And those are just the Goody Mob and Outkast contributions. And so we lost the legend. We lost our Marley Marl this past weekend. And another thing that I want to say, like in the 4 years that I've been in this podcast world, I've seen too many hip hop legends who I've looked up to my whole life die way too soon. I understand that this is a hard business and a hard way, but we got to find a better way. We've lost too many black men in their 40s and 50s, guys. 40s and 50s.
Way too soon.
Way too soon. Like, I want to encourage my brothers, drink some water, get some sleep, leave the girls alone, leave the drugs alone, leave the alcohol alone. Like the devil is in the detail. Master your pace. Because I'm tired. I feel like since I've been doing this show, I feel about 4 to 5 times a year, I got to look up and see that somebody who I know is within 10 years of my lifespan that's gone. I'll be 43 this year. Rico's only 52. I grew up on these guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
Fife. When we lost Fife, I was like, Fife's gone? It's just too many too fast. We as black men, we just got to do better about monitoring our health, getting proper exercise, incorporate fresh squeezed juice into your diet. Like, niggas, I'm not being funny when I say this. You niggas got money. I need y'all to do better. Eat some salads.
Right.
Fresh veggies and fruits. Fresh squeezed juices.
Right. Drink some beet juice.
Yeah.
Do all of that.
Eat some organic cherries, like fresh grapefruit in the morning to help with the blood pressure. Like, we just got to do better as a community.
Right. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
But rest in peace, Rico Wade. Like, we lost the legend down here. The city's feeling it. Like, the city's feeling it. Like, the city feels somber right now. Like, I was all around the city today. I was on the south side, in the east side today, and it's like you can literally feel it in the air. Yeah.
I feel you on that. I do have a question for you. Do you think that Rico Love's impact is big when it came to shifting the sound of hip hop from a New York-based sound that was so gritty when you had Outkast come out with Southern Playalistic? Do you feel like he was pivotal in shifting that entire landscape when it came to that sound?
When shifting the landscape, how about this? I think what he provided for us was our own hip hop template that made us confident that we didn't have to use a West Coast sound or an East Coast sound to identify ourselves or to make a hip hop classic. Like, he taught us how to make hip hop classics our way. You know, does that make sense? Like, he taught us how to do it our way.
And that's why I asked that. You're right. Because the West Coast was dominating. East Coast, of course, was surging. It was a time where you had East Coast and West Coast, and then you had the infamous, quote unquote, the South has something to say. Would you feel that Rico was really like the catalyst to all of that?
No, he is the catalyst.
He is.
Like there is no the South got something to say without Rico Wade, because there's no Southern Playalistic Cadillac music without Rico Wade that allows Outkast to win Best New Artist at the Source Awards, for Andre to get on stage and say that. That does not happen without Rico Wade, because that all happened in Rico Wade Mama House. The Players Ball is up. That's the house. The intro to Players Ball, where they're sitting around the table, that's Rico Wade's mama dining room. The dungeon is downstairs. When you're seeing Andre sitting on the steps on Benz or a Beamer, dapping niggas up, talking about deep in the dungeon for these many months, no, that's Rico Wade mama house.
Yeah.
To your point, Coop, I think he ushered that in with Southern Playalistic and Soul Food. But for me, anyways, AT Aliens is what solidified that. Especially the people up top. You know what I mean? Respecting that sound, carving out their own niche.
So here's the thing, and I always tell people this. Most East Coast people love AT Aliens the most.
Yeah.
Because that's the boom bap album that came out of the Organized Noise Dungeon family camp. That's the most East Coast inspired of all the albums in terms of the drums and the scratches. There's literally a song called Wheels of Steel. Yeah. And so he took, it's like this. Here's how hip hop works. I mean, and y'all all know this. Well, you take a formula and you freak it and you make it your own till you master it. So Southern Playalistic is the introduction into the formula. AT Aliens is the mastery of that hip hop boom bap formula done the Southern way.
Facts. And shout out to Jack. That's why it's my favorite as well. AT Aliens for me is the one. Most people will tell you Aquemini, but for me, AT Aliens is the one.
Yeah.
So here's what I'll tell you. I have AT Aliens third. I'm partial to Southern Playalistic because I was literally leaving Atlanta around the time Southern Playalistic was going on. So when I'm moving back to Charlotte, like I was born in Charlotte, but I was raised in the city in Atlanta and on the east side. I moved back up to Charlotte literally the year I turned 13, which is the year Illmatic and Outkast Southern Playalistic came out. I moved September of that year, I believe it was. And so for me, Southern Playalistic gave me that Atlanta feeling that I didn't have because I was a teenager that had just moved to Charlotte. And although my family's from Charlotte and I was born in Charlotte, I don't know shit about Charlotte when I'm a teenager.
Right.
You know what I mean? So Southern Playalistic gave me a piece of my home. I feel like Aquemini is the most well-crafted album of the three. But on some rap shit and on some mic performance, specifically Andre, it's AT Aliens. And that's why people gravitate, especially who have more of a New York and East Coast aesthetic. Well, that's why you gravitate towards AT Aliens. Well, there's more boom bap on AT Aliens than on Southern Playalistic and Aquemini. And there's more intricate traditional rhyme patterns and rhyme styles on AT Aliens because these guys have become more traditional, fundamentally rooted MCs.
Right.
Southern Playalistic is teenagers figuring out their way. AT Aliens is them knowing the way.
Facts.
Absolutely.
The line.
No doubt. But definitely rest in peace to Rico Wade. My heart bleeds for the city of Atlanta. Coop, you mentioned it's heavy out there right now. Family and prayers, man. Family and prayers.
Sad.
So we went from one legend to another, Mr. C. We lost Mr. C. So AG, I'm gonna flip it over to you.
Yeah, I mean, that was heavy, in the community too, man. Mr. C, one of the legends. I was first introduced to Mr. C like back with Daddy Kane and all that, but then, my fondest memories when he put out the Best of Big mixtape. You know what I'm saying? That was, some heavy material right there. And he's just a legend, a pillar in the hip hop community. And when I heard of his passing, I wish the hip hop community would have showed him, more love in his passing because, from what I seen, on the socials, it was fairly like a blip on the radar. But he's one of the staples in the hip hop community, and it should have been shown more love and respect after his passing. So rest in peace, Mr. C.
No doubt. I mean, look, he was the associate executive producer, Ready to Die. That's all you need to know. All right. He brought in Daddy Kane.
I was about to say, how many people can say they helped discover Kane and Big? It doesn't get any bigger than that.
Yeah.
Right. What are we talking about here?
Yeah. Like for real, name one other person in hip hop history that can say they found and are partially responsible for two guys of that stature in this culture. We're talking about top 5 from each era. No matter, I don't care what anybody says. It's like you don't gotta love Kane, you don't gotta love Big. They're easy top 5 for their era, both of them. Who else?
The Source even featured him on that on Big's Unsigned Hype. Am I correct? Yeah, they featured Mr. C on that. So it's like, he's responsible for so much in hip hop. You know what I mean?
So much. It's like Coop said earlier. I don't think we do our legends the right way. that we don't honor them the right way in our culture for whatever reason. We pick and choose who we want to honor or who you want to respect. Again, put aside what he's done, right? Put aside those other situations that's out there. And I think that plays a part of that with some of these other stations. I'm not going to say no names because we got some affiliations out there right now. But some of them are not championing him because of personal beefs that they had, you know what I mean? And they didn't put that out there. So now it's getting suppressed. But you cannot take away from his legacy. You cannot take away from what he's done as a legend. Again, you bring in Daddy Kane, Big Daddy Kane, and you associate produce, Ready to Die. So you gotta you can't take that away.
I mean, not only that. I mean, this is my introduction to him was in Big and Unsigned Hype, because for me, he's the guy that did Biggie's demo.
Right.
That's what I'm right.
He put Big's demo together.
Right.
So look, so essentially, he's the one that got Big to Puff, which made Ready to Die, which changed the landscape of East Coast hip hop culture.
So brought the East Coast back. I mean, we got to
knock down the first domino. He knocked down the first domino.
Right. I was about to say he's the first cornerstone of the building structure. He's the ground level. He's the cement on the ground that like a whole empire got built on.
Right.
Absolutely. And a phenomenal DJ. You can't take away from the fact that he's one of the best.
Look, I didn't even know he was Kane's DJ, and that he brought Kane in until after I got familiar with Big. And old heads used to tell me, be like, that's Kane's guy. I was like, no, that's Big's guy. They like, no, little nigga, you don't know nothing.
Go back. Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that. So he's one of those people that helped me get acquainted with hip hop history, because I knew him through Big, and it took knowing the older heads to know it's like, no, that's really Kane guy first. I'm like, oh shit.
No doubt. But rest in peace to Mr. C. Rest in peace to the legend, phenomenal DJ, brought us legends. Go back and look at Mr. C tree. Look at the branches from his tree, and make your judgment from there.
Here's what it is. Like, a guy from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, put on 2 of the 3 best MCs to ever come out of Brooklyn. Period.
There you have it.
Period.
There you have it.
Period. Yeah.
There you have it. So cool. I'm gonna put this other one to you. SZA's run. SZA out here getting recognized. She's getting her love. What you think, man? Now she's being honored as a Songwriters Hall of Fame. What you think?
So, first of all, like, congratulations to her. I'm gonna give her props. I want to say this. You know how fucking hard it is to sell 7 million records in this era?
Yeah.
You know how hard that is? Like, selling 7 million records now is like, it's not quite like Purple Rain Thriller level, but it's fucking in the wheelhouse. You know what I'm saying? Those are Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston numbers back when niggas used to buy records. Those are the type of numbers those type of artists do back when you used to buy albums. So the fact that she's moved this type of weight in this type of climate is a major, major accomplishment. So shout out to her. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you something. When SOS came out, my daughter's not like me. She doesn't make like bold proclamations. She's a little bit more objective and a little bit more abstract. When the SZA album came out, she just came to me one morning. She's like, "Daddy, this is the album of the year." I was like, "Oh shit, you don't never talk like that." I'm like, "Where it at?" I'm like, "Hand me the shit. Like, send that to me right now." And so she definitely has impacted the culture. She definitely deserves all the flowers that she's getting. It's hard selling 7 million units in this climate. She's a 4-time Grammy Award winner. She checks all the boxes. On a personal level, and this was probably like on some Michael Jackson Prince shit again, is like, for me, I feel like her is the best female artist of this era. But SZA's right there, and this is a special thing that she's done, and it's hard to get recognized by this Songwriting Academy as a Black woman. So kudos to her. She deserves all the flowers and the recognition that she's getting. It's very, very well deserved. And I want to say this too. And we're going to have this conversation when we talk Illmatic in a minute. Mm-hmm. Like, for me, the numbers don't fucking matter unless the music is there. That's what hip hop taught me, and that's what I was raised on. And I'm not deviating from that standard.
Yeah,
you're right. But to piggyback on something you said about the SZA selling 7 million records is almost like, Purple Rain level present day. We really need a metric for that. to be honest, because you know how we can adjust, you know, all the prices towards with inflation, you know, adjust it with inflation. We can say, okay, this costs this much now, but it would cost this much 20 years ago. So I feel like in the music industry, it needs to be a metric that can kind of, you know, weight it to really show how many units artists are moving nowadays in this streaming era. You know what I mean? I don't know what the equation is, but somebody need to come up with it.
Well, you're right. And this is why I brought up Purple Rain. Well, Purple Rain had a movie attached to it.
Correct.
And moved, I believe the first couple of years moved like 17 million units. And I believe crazy. Like if you were to, you know, input those inflation numbers and put that aggregate data together, that the SZA 7 million is comparable to a Purple Rain number. That's 84. That's 83, 84 with a motion picture attached.
Right.
This is 2024 with all these bullshit ass streaming rules that they change every 6 months for whatever artist they want to win.
Right.
And she still moved it, and the quality of music is there. The album was great. I don't think it was a classic, but the album and the music on there was great enough that it's like, oh no, if you're telling me she moved 7 million units off that album with the records that I heard that my daughter shared with me, it's like, oh no, I'm with that. And for the most part, I agreed with her album of the year sentiment. I mean, the only knock I have for her is that I would put her in first place and I would put SZA in second place. And for me, her is very Prince-like in terms of her songwriting and full encompassing music ability. She is the Prince of this era to me.
She writes for freedom. You could tell.
So I guess
she writes for freedom.
Right. So this would kind of make SZA Michael Jackson. Like she the one that's doing the big records and doing the big numbers, while the other one is the more intricate songwriter that gives more of the songs out to other people. Because if I'm not mistaken, her is written for SZA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What Drake said, SZA got you wiped down. she in the big three.
SZA can wipe me down.
Me too. Cool, man.
Wipe me down whenever she wants. Because I'm on. Wipe me down. Yeah. But no. But shout out to her. It's a major accomplishment. It's hard to move that type of weight in this environment, in this climate. Like none of these guys that we be talking about is even sniffing those type of numbers right now. And selling out towards like and stuff the way that she is. So, you know, she deserves all the praise right now. And the main thing that I like, if you go like read the tea leaves about what she's saying about this accomplishment, she's giving credit to her whole team, and that's what I really like to see. Yeah, she's not just over there like, thank you. She's like, no, shout out to this nigga and that nigga and everybody that contributed to the cause. That's what's up. And that's what you want to see too.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
Like, because it makes you connect to the artist more and know that they're real and not above the fray.
Right. Because we need that. We need that in today's climate, because we don't have the pool of candidates, if you will, in today's climate in comparison. So you need that. You need a SZA, you need a her to be able to balance everything out the way it is right now, because the musical palette has changed so much. The consumer has changed so much. So you need someone like a SZA to balance that whole thing out.
It's hard to make good R&B music that people are actually going to buy.
Right.
I don't think people understand that. It's hard to make good R&B these days that people are actually going to stream, purchase, go see on tour, and actually enjoy the music.
That's a whole nother conversation, Coop, because I think R&B doesn't have a true identity in 2024, if I'm being honest.
They don't. Think about what we came through. When you got an in vogue song or album, you knew what you was getting, right? When you got those legends back then during that time, you knew what you were getting. You knew what you was in for. Right now, you don't know what you're in for. Everything pretty much sounds really the same.
They're on a different kind of time with the R&B now. You know.
Here's her biggest accomplishment, really, in my opinion. Well, she did it her way. She didn't resort to some formula to do it.
Right.
Like, it still sounds like a SZA album.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It sounds like SZA when you listen to SOS. It's like, you know, it's a little toxic. It's a little dirty. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It ain't all the way cleaned up. It's a little muddy, but she's always been that way.
And we need that perspective. You know what I mean? Because we get that toxic male energy. You know what I'm saying? We need to know the female mindset on the toxic side. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. She's doing toxic better than the guys.
I ain't mad at it.
Me neither. Shout out
That's
to the
true.
ladies. You know what I mean? Shout out to
That's
SZA.
true. No
Yeah.
doubt.
Major
So,
move.
AG, I'm gonna flip it over to you. You want to talk about this AI stuff, man? You was tight about that all week, so you finally want to get it off your chest. You know what I mean, you was tight about this. I'm like, I don't want
Tell
to
him
hear
why
about
you
this no
mad,
more.
son. Tell him why
Tell
you
him why
mad, son.
Yeah, I mean, it's spooky hours for real, bro. Like, I was just getting tight at these diss tracks, man, coming through. And my son was even more tight than I was. My man was pacing the house, like trying to figure out if, you know what I'm saying, these diss tracks are real or not. And he was like, you know, and he had a good solution. He said, all they got to do is submit it to DSPs. If it's on DSPs, we know that it's real. But therein lies the problem, because, you know, you got to question, you know, conspiracy theory. You got to question the label's involvement with these AI leaks. If they're putting these out as like some sort of litmus test, you know what I mean? To try to gauge if something's hot or not, right? You know, before we officially put it out, because you can always fall back on, if the people ain't feeling it, like, oh, well, it was just AI, it was fake. You know what I mean? Instead of putting your official stamp on it as an artist. And what kind of time does that bring the culture in? Because I mean, it's like really scary, you know, when we can hear something but can't get full on excited about it because we don't even know if it's the real deal Holyfield or not. So it's just, I mean, it's just a sad time to me. And then, you know, I do think it's some label involvement with it. And to the artist that's doing it, right? Because you got to have some talent, some level of talent to put it together, to mimic your favorite artist, put it in the, you know, the AI system and let it come out how it comes out. But I'm just here to tell you, like, if you're trying to showcase your talent, that ain't the way to do it. You know what I mean? Just, you know, go about it and be original and get it that way. You know, don't, you know what I'm saying? Get your own original way. Don't do it through this AI BS. And then you got people like Timbaland, when this AI started becoming a thing, saying like, oh, I never got to work with Big, and, you know, I want to, you know, do some big AI or whatever. And I'm like, that's cute now, because you can, like, you know, put Big's voice over your beats. But what happens when these AI programs start programming the beats like Timbaland? And then you got a Timbaland, you know, Timbaland type beat on the internet. You know what I'm saying? And people trying to purchase these beats that you didn't even do. So it's just a weird situation that, you know, is just kind of disgusting to me in hip hop. And for this battle situation at that, it's kind of testing the waters a little bit, because you can sit back as the real artist and be like, okay, that worked, even though it was AI, the fans like that. So, you know, I can pick apart, you know, little things that work with the AI and then construct my diss track. But at the same time, it may not hit as hard because people already done heard it on the AI.
Let me jump in right quick, AG.
Yeah.
That's the part where it's hurting the game, is that you're sitting up here doing the AI thing. You're taking creative license away from the artist when you do that.
Right.
Because something that they may have legitimately been formatting to say, they might have been freaking, like, what if Kendrick was working? Like, what if this is the reason the Kendrick diss didn't come out, is because he was formatting some things, and some of the stuff that got said in his diss, he's like, oh, fuck, I did kind of say something like that. Now, if I put it out, it looks like I'm copying the AI person. Leave the AI to English teachers like my guy Andrew. And shout out to Mirror Music.
Shout out to Andrew. But you're right, too. It dilutes everything. And, you know, just going forward, like I said, we don't even know how far, you know, this thing can be carried or how it will go. You know what I mean? It may come to a point where a full album may drop and we tapping in like, yo, you know what I mean? And it not even be the real thing. So it's really scary. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, producers haven't had to deal with this yet. And what pisses me off is, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen any other genres really have to deal with this. I'm gonna call it an AI epidemic, because it's going to be an epidemic to the game for real. Like, I haven't seen pop or anybody else really have to deal with it like these MCs are going to have to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And since we talking about Esco today in the Illmatic segment, he was on top of this back in when he released Magic 3 on Speechless 2, you know, he said in the rhyme, my guess is someone will replace your soul. AI is only here to replicate and control, imitating the original. They grab them a mold of the binary code. It's your patterns they stole. This is my tactical flow, the one they can't redesign. You can redo the voice, but you can never read my mind. You know, Esco was spitting on that. You know what I mean? Like, you could copy my voice, but how I get down with my pen is not going to be quite as authentic. You know what I'm saying? So,
no doubt. No doubt.
Well, here's the flip side to that. I hope this does make other people step their pen game up, because here's the reality of the matter. Oh no, these AI motherfuckers can't write like Nas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But he's in that 1 percentile though. But the other 99.
Right. But does it make them hang up their pen for real? You know what I'm saying?
It will because they're lazy.
I'm about to say, some of these niggas need to hang up their pen, or they need to fucking do better.
Right.
Exactly.
But then if the labels can reproduce with AI, then what you need the artist for? You know?
You still need the face. You still need the face, though. You still need someone to be able to push the brand forward. You know what I mean? Because you think about the artists today, they're no longer the actual artists. They're the face. They're the brand. They're the character. You know what I mean? The character is what sells the actual music. It's not really the music anymore, because no one is paying attention to what's being said in the music. They're paying attention to the acts. We're seeing it now. We're seeing everything on IG. This battle has turned into an IG war. I think someone posted that Rick Ross had like 32 different mentions of Drake in the last 24 to 48 hours. That is crazy. That is
how these niggas sound? You know how these niggas sound? Do you remember? Yeah. Do you remember like when you was outside with your homeboy and y'all was like done, but y'all like kind of had to wrap up because like the street lights was about to come on, and you had about 10 minutes, and so you just stood outside with your boy and y'all just took turns cracking corny ass jokes on each other. Be like your head looks soggy like a water balloon. Like just saying stupid shit to your mans. That's how these two niggas sound right now. They sound corny as fuck. Sound corny as fuck.
Booth. Right. Forget the mic. I'm gonna flame you on IG. It's corny. So yes, that's why AI has inserted itself, because you got corny stuff going on IG.
Right. But we reached a new level, because before now, the AI tracks would come out and they were still somewhat anonymous, right? But now this guy that did the Kendrick diss track, he went viral, and he's had to come forward and say, okay, that was me, and this how I put it together, and this, you know what I mean? And all that. Right. So now it's going to be even more of a clout chasey type thing to do. You know what I mean? Because if something does catch some fire, then you can come out and say, oh, nah, that was me. So I'm going to put my stamp on it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But AG, to that point, I still think that the way it's being handled right now, it's only replaced how things were back then. Remember when Jay and Nas was going at it, even before Ether and Takeover came out? Jay did a photo shoot of Rockaway in Queensbridge. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? No, a lot of people don't know that. He did the Rockaway ad in Queensbridge at certain spots in Queensbridge that like someone from Queensbridge would know. That was his version of the social media attack. Like I'm in your hood. I'm in your hood, my guy. You know what I mean? And now today, we didn't have that back then. We had to see it in the magazine. We flipped it through the Source magazine, Double XL magazine. We see the Rockaway ad, and you had to be from there to understand. Like, yo, is he in Queens? Is that's not Brooklyn? That's definitely not Brooklyn. But that was that banter that was going on back there behind the scenes. Now today, everything is live. You can post anything on IG within a couple of minutes, and it's going viral. Back then, we had to read the magazine to see what the shots were looking like before the actual song came out.
And that was late by the time we got it, by the time it reached us.
Facts.
Right.
Could remember that when Jay was doing a little slick stuff out there.
Yeah. Oh, no. I remember all that slick shit. But that's part of what made the bat. Okay, so here's the thing about it. Because of the way the timelines used to work, we used to be on the edge of our seat waiting to see what's these petty ass niggas gonna do to each other next.
Right.
Because they're both petty, and petty a different way. It's like, oh, what are you gonna do? It's like, oh, he's gonna pull up at QB and do a photo shoot. You're like, he might do like, but this shit these dudes doing is corny. Like, it's corny. They need to stop. Like, I don't want to see the property next door. What the fuck does that have to do with Drake?
Right. It's corny talk. You talking about properties and come on, Ross. Come on.
Let me ask y'all something else on the AI. Just to kind of compare and contrast to it. What would y'all say would be the difference in doing this and maybe monetizing it versus like the Pac hologram at Coachella? Bring him back, because you're bringing back somebody's likeness that's not real, and then the AI is the voice that's not really theirs and putting out musical properties that's not there. So what would y'all say is the difference in that? Because you can maybe even monetize it at some point.
It's all some bullshit to me. I don't like the Pac hologram either.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, because here's the thing about it too, is that you have people making money off that man's likeness while he's not here for one. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it kind of like it waters it down and inauthenticates it,
Yeah.
But here we have to be, and I keep on saying this, we have to be better standard bearers in this culture and stop putting up with the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to stop allowing it. It's like when they pulled up the Pac hologram at Coachella, everybody went crazy. It's like, nah, fam, I didn't go crazy. If I want to hear Pac, I play All Eyes on Me. Or Me Against the World. Like they could have just. I've been to a Snoop Dogg show without a hologram where they just had to play Pac and it was the same reaction. Like, you don't need the hologram of Pac to get the reaction like Pac is there. You don't. No doubt. Because I've been in a concert stadium where they've done it, and Pac and Snoop has performed two of America's Most Wanted, and literally the entire fucking audience sings Pac's part for him. Picture perfect. I paint a perfect picture. Bomber hoochies with precision. My intentions with the S&OOP dog. My fucking home. Like, no, the whole crowd to do that for you.
Yep. Facts.
Don't need no hologram. We all know the words.
Yeah.
But it's all, like you said, Coop, it's all nasty work, and it had me tight. Like I said, my son was tripping like, yo, I don't even want to hear nothing come out unless it's officially, stamped, you know what I mean, on the DSPs and stuff, because the artists ain't rushing, to their socials. They doing these little memes and stuff back and forth. But like I said, they doing the little temperature check litmus test, because when this stuff leak out, they're not rushing to their socials to be like, yo, nah, that's me for real. Nah, that's AI for real. Like, you know what I mean? You want to see what the response is and then work it from there.
To quote J. Cole on First Person Shooter, they letting it rock because they love the mystique.
Right.
Facts.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim,
they loving it too much. They loving it too much. Yeah.
Because
it's like Wizard of Oz. Step behind the curtain. Bring your ass out on stage if you got a problem.
Right.
Like, I don't want to see Rick Ross at his house talking about Drake. I want to see Rick Ross on stage performing a diss record.
Cool. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like him when 50 was doing all of that. I didn't like the whole curly whatever he was.
Taking baby mama shopping and shit. I didn't like that either. It's like, oh, you taking baby mama shopping? What the fuck that got to do with this beef? Because look here. Right. You tell any chick you taking her to Neiman Marcus, she about to get in the car. Be like, so we're going to Neiman Marcus. I'm with you.
Well, that deters you. It distracts from having to get in the booth, and and shout out to Sean for even bringing this up, because he told me like, yo, if this is before the diss track even dropped, like Sean texted me like, yo, if Ross come out with something, he gonna be a distraction. And this whole situation, the whole back and forth social media thing, that's buying Kendrick all the time in the world. He needs people talk about he on the clock. Not really.
Hey, look, I'm gonna say this, we're gonna move on. But we need to talk about Kendrick's writer's block. But that's neither here nor there. Let's go and get out. Let's get out.
I've been talking about his writer's block for years now. No, let me just say this right quick. That nigga hasn't wrote a dope verse since 2017.
Don't do that.
He wrote a dope verse since 2017.
Cool. So you gotta say, cool. Is problem what?
It's problematic. It's fucking 2024. This nigga ain't had a dope verse since 2017.
Yo.
The fuck is going on?
Do you not think that Drake doesn't know that? Drake know he has a writer's block. Those,
Drake's ahead. He watching the
if
shit
you
the same
know,
way
you
we
know.
are. Like,
if you know, you know. You know Kendrick has writer's block right now. You gotta, yo, I don't want to get into that. He has writer's block. Yo, his auntie is an uncle. You got writer's block. I'm sorry. You get writer's block.
Well,
When you write something like that, you get writer's block. When you say my auntie is, let me get off of that. All right.
no, I'm stressed out. I'm stressed out.
What's the next topic, Charles?
It's like, oh, you stressed out? You stressed out?
Can make
Okay.
everybody happy. I can't make everybody happy.
Oh wow, bro. What's the next topic, Charles?
All right, my bad. But he says on his uncle, and he got writer's block now. Shout out to Drizzy.
And he's stressed out. Don't forget the stressed out part. I'm stressed out. It's like, oh, you are?
Out. I can't.
Yeah, I'm look. I'm sure being worth millions of dollars and literally taking 5 years off from what made you millions of dollars has you so fucking stressed out, my G.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Doing burpees in the park got you stressed out.
Yeah, I'm trying to take 5 years off from my job because I'm stressed too and still get paid.
Nigga, I'm trying to take 5 days. I want 5 days. Fuck 5 years. I want 5 days off from my job, nigga.
Word.
5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes.
Word.
Yo, so let's get into it, man. Let's get into the warm up. We got to rank these Nas and Primo collabs, fellas, because we got the single dropping at midnight.
Word.
You know what I mean? We got some other things in the. I'll keep it right there, but we got the single dropping at midnight, and we got to rank this. They got to hear from us first before they get the single tonight. So let's start.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to speak to that, the fact that they're releasing a single, and this looks like it's pointing to something else for everybody disappointed out there that it's not a full-on project. You know, kudos to Nas for not setting himself up, because at the end of the day, none of Nas's albums need to share a date with Illmatic, an anniversary date. So if he drop a project on the 30th anniversary of Illmatic, it will forever be compared to Illmatic. So shout out to Nas for not doing that and setting himself up for, even more criticism and stuff than he already gets. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of cats out there that's like complaining about this union of Nas and Primo, that all they've been asking for the past decade is like, man, Nas need to do an album with Primo. Nas needs to do an album with Primo. And then Hit Boy come with 6 straight albums. They're like, man, it'd be better when he was with Primo. And as soon as Nas pop up with Primo, they're like, it's too late. Like, they should have did this 20 years ago. Like, which one is it? Like, the fans can't be pleased one way or another. So, but at the end of the day, people going to criticize it. I'm here for the music. I just want to enjoy it. But I like the fact that Nas said, let me put out a single versus an album, because I think that would have been a mistake if he did that, especially on Illmatic 30th. So
no doubt. So let's rank, fellas. Come on, cool.
Hold on, before we get started, it's a few joints that I want to know if they're eligible for our ranking. Like,
I knew you was about to do this shit. I knew you was about to do this.
Or they just honorable mentions. Like, we got the Regeneration joint with the Symphony Orchestra, so scratch that. The classic joint with Rakim, KRS, and Kanye.
Hold on. Didn't Kanye do that beat and Preme just did the scratches?
Nah,
we didn't count Primo scratches.
Nah, Primo did the beat. Yeah, Primo did the beat.
That's not a Nas Preme collab, though.
It's right. I'm just saying, is it eligible? It's 2 versions. I think Rick Rubin did one and Preme did the other, if I'm not mistaken. But you can fact check me on that. So we crossing that one off, and then probably not enough people heard it. The original version of "Represent," the jazzy joint.
No, because if we're doing that, we got to do the original version of Memory Lane too, which actually had a darker, more dense beat with a heavier bass line.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take those out. So we got 9 joints to choose from. Y'all want to go from the last place to first place?
That's cool with me.
That's cool. All right. Let's do it.
So I think we all can agree, like, out the gate, what the last joint gonna be, right?
Beat Breaks.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we'll put that at number 9 in our rankings. So number 8, that was easy to do. From here on out, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, that was the easy part.
And beat breaks are solid, but it just ain't up to par with what they've done previously.
Yeah, it was done for a reason. Yeah,
yeah. My I'm gonna throw this in the hat for the 8th spot.
Okay.
It hurts me to do this, but I'm gonna say Second Childhood.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you some pushback on that because I have a feeling that your number 8 and my number 7 are the same, except for I got them reversed. I got Come and Get Me at Nostradamus at number 8, and I'm gonna tell you why. I think the beat to Come and Get Me is better than the beat to Second Childhood, but Nas delivers with the content on Second Childhood on a level that I feel like he doesn't with Come and Get Me. And so I have Come and Get Me off Nostradamus at number 8.
It's close, and I'm not going to give too much pushback on that. And my main thing with Come and Get Me is he attacks that track, right? It's the delivery, it's the aggression, that I gave it the edge over Second Childhood. But the content of Second Childhood is top tier. So, it depends. Like you said, we can judge the beat and we can judge what Nas is doing, what both Primo and Nas are doing. But for me, the aggression in Come and Get Me, he going, taking shots at Jay. He's attacking the track. The hook is crazy. The hook is crazy.
Can I provide you with a caveat that has always tipped the scales about that record for me that makes me place it where I do?
For sure.
Jay has a song on Volume 3 called Come and Get Me, and it's better than Nas and Preme's Come and Get Me.
The first part.
The Jay-Z and Timbaland Come and Get Me is better than the Nas and Preme Come and Get Me.
I only agree with the first part, Coop, when the beat switched.
Nigga, when he said, I remove your roof, nigga, let the sun slide in. It was over. It was over when he did that.
Yeah. That's the first part. But once the beat switched, I'm like,
that beat switch, it kind of got.
But when he said, he's really a 36 without the gun, I'm thin. But when the gat is tucked, I'm fat as fuck.
If I'm busting it down, it's the first part of Jay's, then Nas, and then the second part of Jay's. But, Sean would say this could be.
I'm about to say, Sean, you got to break the tie. You gotta break the tie.
Majority vote.
Come and Get Me holding near to my heart, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I was active in Queens during that song, and it was go time. But Second Childhood, man, that's my formative year, man. I'm 21 when Second Childhood came out, and everything he said of Second Childhood just made so much sense. It gotta be closer to the top than to the bottom. So I would have to go with, honestly, man, Come and Get Me at number 8.
Come Get Me at 8. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So does that automatically slide Second Childhood to 7, or does anybody think that 1 is below that?
I have Second Childhood at 7. What say you, Sean?
Yeah, I can do that. Second Childhood at 7.
I'm in agreement with that. Now it gets a little crazy.
This is where it gets tight. This is where it gets tight.
I ain't even gonna jump out the window. I want one of y'all to say it first.
I got New York State of Mind Part 2 at number 6.
Nah,
I'm gonna say it.
Nah, we not doing that. Nah.
Yep. Yes, we are doing that.
No.
Yes, we are. We are.
No,
we're not doing that.
No, we're not.
We are doing that.
Listen.
What? Look, no.
Mama should have cuffed me to the radiator. Why not? And probably saved me labor from my block. And why cops? Yo. Hey, cool. I had 8 partners growing up. 8 turned to 7. 7 turned to 6. Got 2 in heaven. 6 of us holding it. Now it's 5 rolling thick. Say, come on, man.
Okay. So on the flip side of that, where I was telling you about Come and Get Me, where I feel like Preme is there, but Nas's traditional bar work and high level isn't there. Well, I feel the opposite about this. I feel like, and people love the New York State of Mind 2-part beat. Like for me, the original version is one of Preme's 3 to 5 best beats, like in my opinion, and it's one of the best rap songs ever in my opinion. And so I can't. It's just make your argument. I got it at number 6. What say you, Sean?
I can live with that number 6.
Oh, y'all wildin'. Y'all wildin'.
AG, what's your number 6? What's your number 6?
I would put New York State of Mind 2. See, I don't want to get canceled, but I would put New York
number
State.
6? No, what's your number 6 though?
What's your number 6 though? What's your number 6?
Represent.
No.
What are you doing?
That's
What's wrong
wild.
with you?
Yo, listen, man.
Yo,
How is
hold on,
it? No,
we gotta edit that.
Time
We
out.
gotta edit that. No, we
Time
edit
out. Time
that.
out.
Yo, edit.
Time out. Time
Yo,
out.
Stacks, edit.
Why
Hey,
is
hey,
it?
hey,
Why is
we
it
gonna
that
have to
much
get-
space? Why is it
we
that
gonna
much
have to get-
space between New York State of Mind 1 and 2? Explain to me why it needs to be that much space between those two tracks.
Yo.
Can I? Okay, so if I may, New York State of Mind Part 1 is in conversation with best rap song ever to start off an album.
Absolutely.
It is in that conversation. Like for me, it's New York State of Mind and Ambitions as a Rider by Tupac as far as like best songs that start an album, a classic album. Like so it's not a knock to part 2, but part 1 is just like that. And to think that straight up shit is real and any day can be your last in the jungle, get murdered on the humble, guns a blast, niggas tumble. Right. The corners is the hot spot filled with mad criminals who don't care, guzzling beers. We all stare at the out of towners.
Yeah, he's going crazy.
North before we get the 4-pounder. And take their faith off.
Listen, he's going crazy on that.
I'm gonna do this. Look,
when he said, "Catch me walking with him,"
you were not going to finish this. I'm gonna put Adriel in the back for saying that because that is crazy. I had to put him in the back.
When he said, "Catch me walking with a bop with my hat turned back, love committing sins and my friends sell crack."
New York State of Mind
with the razor, keep it under my tongue.
New York State of Mind 2 is grimy, man. It's grimy. Let me ask y'all this. It's something about the beat. It got a little bit more swing to it than New York State of Mind Part 1. New York State of Part 1 is the better beat, but Part 2 got a little bit of a swing to it. The tempo's different, right?
Here's what I'll tell you. How about this?
Swing to it.
I used to not be a big fan.
Wow, stop.
AG, let me tell you something. I used to not be a big fan of the Represent beat. Like I love the beat, but I wasn't a big fan of it. And then he did that shit in the garden. I was like, yeah, I'm fucking tripping. So I'm gonna stop doing that.
All right, but y'all gonna stop act like I'm bugging because like if I can see that if we put part 2 here, don't act like Represent is so much higher than that. You know what I'm saying? Because I
got Represent at number 5. Okay, so I got Represent at number 5.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all niggas act like I'm bugging. Like it's switching 2 places.
But what do you mean when you say more swing to it? What do you mean by that? Like,
Sean, all right, number 6, New York State of Mind Part 2. 5.
You can't,
no Diddy. Hey yo.
I just don't. How about this?
Nah, I came in here ready to fight for New York State of Mind too, man, for real. But
okay, you want to know what? Okay, you want to know what? You want to know what? You know what, AG? Let's put Represent at number 6, and we gonna see how.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
No, it's 2 to 1. It's 2 to 1. I gotta keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? And if I know if we polled it like Represent will win over New York State of Mind too. But I gotta be able to compartmentalize a personal favorite versus like what's better and be objective. So I came in here thinking I could get that off. You know what I'm saying? Fight for it and win. But y'all ain't let me have it. So all right.
No, you can't.
No,
I'm sorry.
Not really. Not over Represent, no.
All right, Sean, you can loosen up your Queen's hat, man. All right, it's number 6. It's number 6. It's number 6. So I wasn't bugging that much to say Represent as an alternative because we go with Represent as number 5, correct?
Yes, we can live with that.
All right, so now it gets crazy, right?
Ooh, this is where it gets interesting because, go ahead. So what's your number 4, AG?
Why y'all make me jump out the window first? Y'all wild.
I'll jump out the window.
Virginia. It makes sense. It really makes sense.
That's the third time. That's the third strike, AG. That's the third strike.
I'm gonna be on the next flight out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna pull up on time.
Look here. That flight from West Virginia.
I'm gonna break every last one of them damn plastics.
That's about 70 minutes. You can be. That's about 70-minute flight, AG. You can be Deshaun like real quick. You can make that happen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So look, I'm going to jump out the window. I'm going to tell you this, and I've said this before. I think that this is probably the most lyrically intense song of all time, but lyrics a song don't totally make. I Gave You Power at number 4.
I'm not mad at that. What do you say, Sean?
I'm not mad at that at all. I can live with that.
That beat is somber, but it's not like
it's eerie. Yeah,
I don't even know if you can listen to it and tell it's a signature Primo beat unless somebody told you. You know what I mean?
It's not. But here's the thing about it, though. Preme actually gave him a soundscape to craft a fully fledged story. The level of lyrically, this is the manifesto to me. Like in hip hop and of the collaborations, but in totality of the songs
and hook wise, that's my favorite hook of all time in rap.
How about this? Illmatic doesn't have hooks. If it was written has anything over Illmatic, it's the fact that his hook game is supreme on it was written, and this is the example of the hook game being supreme. It is one of the best hooks of all time.
Yep, facts.
I might have took your first child, scarred your wife, crippled your style, gave you power, made you buck. Yeah.
And what I love about Nas, and this is a whole nother tangent, most of his hooks are extensions of the verses, so it bleeds into it perfectly.
Well, it's a seamless transition, but that's what a hook is really supposed to be.
Right. But yeah, I'm not mad at that, Coop. What do you say, Sean?
No, I can live with that. I've always loved that joint from day one. And that's, like y'all said, it's not a signature Preme beat. I think the closest thing that's that Preme did with that was on when he did a joint for Fat Joe. What was the joint? Peace God, I'm gone, I'm on
Hold
my
on,
way.
You talking about on Jealous One's Envy?
That was on the he had the black Yankee fitted on that joint. What's that album cover of Joe?
Yeah, that's Jealous One's Envy, ain't it?
It could be Jealous One's Envy.
I think so.
That could be.
Yeah, that's Jealous One's Envy.
That's the closest he got to it from that actual that sound palette, and it was something totally left field for Primo at that time. So yeah, Dark Side, the Dark Side joint. Yes, thank you, Bricks. That was Dark Side. Dark Side, and I Give You Power was the closest of that feel that we got from Primo, and always I love both of them records. So yeah, I'll have to go with that one.
All right, so we had number. I think I know how the rest of it's gonna pan out.
You don't. No, you don't, because I'm about to jump out the window now.
Don't do it.
I got to jump out the window a little bit because maybe it's because I've been listening to Illmatic all day.
Don't do it.
But I actually have Nas is like at number 3.
No.
Don't do this.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yo,
you hear? No, he's lyrically he's crazy on memory lane, but that beat Nas is like. Come on, bro. You was listening to them Rockefeller cats when they were saying the beat was too happy on the radio.
Facts. And I hate that to this day. I hate that to this day. I'm still mad about that to this day.
Because what Beanie Siegel called it, he's like, cut off them happy beats, cut off them flutes.
Yeah, as soon as that beat drop, you know what time it is. You know, freedom in jail, clips inserted, the baby's being born at the same time, and man is murdered at the beginning and end. Yo,
so let me share something with you right quick. The reason that I picked Memory Lane, and this was like one of those day of picks where I switched it up because I had Nas is like at number 2. The second verse to Memory Lane is probably the best verse on Illmatic.
Yes. I was mad that I wasn't at the Garden show to see him perform that a cappella. That was crazy.
The breath control was amazing because that's one of the more because of how he did the rhyme pattern on the second verse in particular. Right. The fact that at damn near 50 years old he was able to do it a cappella without you hearing him go it was special. Yeah. And so maybe I was just being nostalgic today, but Memory Lane is the most special record.
Yeah.
That they never talk about from Nas's catalog. It is because
you're right. You're right. I'm gonna ask you 2 questions though. Cool. Question number 1.
Okay.
If you just heard both instrumentals as an MC used to rap, which one are you jumping on?
I'm jumping on Nas's like.
Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, second question. So the title of the track that's dropping tonight, did you see the title of the track?
Called Define My Name.
And what song is that from?
It's from Nas is like, I knew you was gonna do that bullshit.
So which one belongs in number 3, Coop?
Oh, that's fine. You want to know? I got outvoted this time. That's why I went ahead and jumped out the window. Like I'm gonna go ahead and jump out the window and go ahead.
I feel like I redeemed myself. Yo, I'm a I Am representative. So something from I Am had to be high for real.
Now here's what I will tell you. Nas is Like is the only track that he made post Illmatic that sounds like it belongs on Illmatic.
It sounds like it goes right next to It Ain't Hard to Tell.
Yeah, like it's like if you went in, if It Ain't Hard to Tell cut off, like Nas is Like came on, it would be like, I agree.
Yeah, and plus, let me add this. That video was iconic, and for as much as Primo and Nas that their union is lauded and people want this project for them, that's the only single that they've ever put out together.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is
It
the only one.
Thing. See,
And
here's
it's a
the thing.
B-side. And it's a B-side. Yeah.
Their chemistry and their chemistry, I would only put Snoop and Dre's chemistry above it, because what they do is they provide the streets with that sound that just feed the aesthetic of what fundamental East Coast New York hip hop is supposed to sound like.
Right.
Like nobody does it better. It's like, I know Preem's got epic stuff with Jay. He's got epic stuff with Big, but there's something about the stuff that he does with Nas that's rooted in the fundamental values of this culture. And that's why the stuff doesn't normally make a single. And if you really think about it, Nas is like really isn't a single. Look at the shit that's on I Am. It's like they made that a single.
Right. Absolutely. That Nas is like is classic. Love that song.
I'd like to thank them for doing that instead of fucking making Hate Me Now or Dr. Not Book the first fucking single. Because then it really would have been over.
I love Dr. Not Boo. I'm not going front.
Hey, that was my mantra back in the day.
That was my mantra.
Hey, that was the handbook. That was the handbook. Come on, bro. That was the handbook.
It was.
That beat is terrible. I don't care how much handbook shit he write. That shit is terrible.
If you was moving a certain way, it was the handbook. So
No, I'm talking about the beat. I was like, okay, he need to stop working with Trackmasters right here.
But a lot of people try to act like that wasn't on the original leak. But Dr. Not Boot wasn't in fact on the original. I think it was 13 track bootleg joint that leaked. So
Dr. Not Boot was on there. So what's number 3? We're going number 3. What we going with that?
Do you got anything to say about Nas's like, Sean?
I mean, you know,
y'all win. Memory Lane's number 3. That's cool.
Yeah.
So we all in agreement with what number 1 is obviously New York State of Mind. Like Coop said, arguably the greatest hip hop song of all time. It's in the running. You know what I mean? Of greatest hip hop songs of all time. So that's what's up.
That's a good look. That's a good list.
Look here.
That was a dope exercise, gentlemen.
Yeah, that's a good exercise. We'll put it out there.
Can I say something right quick about New York State of Mind?
For sure.
Yeah.
When he said my rhyming is a vitamin held without a capsule, that's the line that made me want to rap. Because I had never heard nobody talk like that before. I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, hold the fuck on. I'm like he said, what? My rhyming is a vitamin held without a capsule. I was like, yo, I'm like, this dude. He's somewhere else where everybody else is not right now.
In a different world. He's in a different world.
He's somewhere else. Yeah, he's somewhere else. That was the line, though. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, what's your line from New York State of Mind that like stands out to you? That like made you be like, yo, this nigga right here. Because you got to think, for a lot of us, like I wasn't familiar with Live at the Barbecue or Halftime. Right. I'm from the South. So I didn't know about Halftime. I didn't know about Live from the Barbecue or Back to the Grill. It wasn't until I heard Illmatic that I went back and heard those things.
Right.
So for me, you have to understand, New York State of Mind is the first time I'm really hearing this nigga rap.
Yeah, for me, Coop, with Nas has always been about the imagery with the pen. He doesn't say stuff like a normal person would say it. Just a simple line like, and take it in blood, like, you know, throw my hat on my waves. You know what I'm saying? Versus, you know, I just throw on, you know, put on my fitted or whatever. You know what I mean? It's the imagery in it for me. So that line in Illmatic on New York State of Mind was, I ran like a cheetah with thoughts of an assassin. Whoa, and I was just like,
out of my head.
I was just like,
this is what I mean. So this is why it's the best song. There are so many lines on that album. How about this? That was the first rap song where I wasn't familiar with who the artist was or where he was from, but I could see where he was from how he was talking. When he said, pick the Mac up, told niggas back up. The Mac spit. That was hitting niggas one ran. I made them backflip.
Yo, y'all killing me right now, man.
Heard a few chicks scream. My arm shook. Couldn't look. Gave another squeeze. Heard it click. Yo, my shit is stuck.
Yeah.
Yo, look. Y'all not talking about the opening line. Rappers are monkey flip them
with the fucking rhythm, yeah.
No, that's what I mean. And then actually the best line on the song is actually it drops deep as it does in my breath. I never sleep. The sleep is the cousin of death.
That's the one. That's the one. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a homie that actually live in Greensboro, Coop, and you know he's a big time Jay fan. And I was like, he texted me something about the Drake and Kendrick battle today, And I was like, bro, don't text me about nothing to do with that battle. I'm saying I'm on Esco time. Esco dropping at midnight. And he sent me back the Z's like he was asleep. Well, I was like, don't sleep, because sleep is the cause of the death. And he couldn't even say nothing to that. You know, I did him back with the line, you know.
Them Greensboro niggas love some Jay-Z.
Well, he's from here. He's from Dub V too, but you know what I mean. He lives in Greensboro now. So shout out to you, Mike. But on the what did y'all think when Premier revealed that he did that New York State of Mind first verse in one take, and it was like, yo, y'all think that was all right?
Well, I mean, you heard what Preme said at the beginning. Like, you ready to go in? You know what I mean? It's just, here's the thing. During that time of hip hop, when that came out, it changed the trajectory of how to write rhymes, how to pay attention to every single detail, piece by piece. And for him to do that in one setting, that when we knew that he was the one. We knew that he was the one. It was confirmed.
I think Fat Joe put it best. I think Fat Joe said this a long time ago. He's like, Nas is the first nigga that came around that killed us softly. He's like, everybody else was screaming and was rah, 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 and it was real braggadocious, and you had to have the outfit and the gold chain. Nas killed us with his wordplay, with his imagery, with his scene setting ability, with his actual writing skill and MC ability. He's the first MC to kill you that way.
Cool. His attention to detail by every
second
line.
Second to none.
No one else was doing that during that time, because we came out of the
still second to none. It's still second to none.
And that's what Cube said on his podcast. Cube said, we was writing, but you put it in cursive. Cube told Nas that on Nas's podcast.
Yeah, you put it in cursive.
There. I mean, Ice Cube would be the prototypical rapper who had the mantle before Nas. It's like Ice Cube was insightful, introspective, and intelligent, but he was also very loud and very aggressive, and that was part of the appeal. Nas was the first person that just would say some shit, and you'd be like, "Whoa, what the fuck? Like, what?" Sometimes I stood on the block, loose cracks, produce stacks, I cooked up and cut small pieces to get my loot back. Time is Illmatic, keep static like wool fabric.
Apple Formatic.
Your whole cabbage. Yo, we talking about the ill. Let's go to transition into Illmatic, because we got
one question real quick before we do a transition. My bad, Sean, for cutting you off.
You good.
Outside of the joints that any joints he produced for Nas, like, what's y'all's favorite Premier production? For me, it's Above the Clouds.
Above the Clouds?
Yep. That's my favorite Primo track.
Are we talking beat or song?
Beat.
I'm gonna think about that one, bro, because I like Kicking the Door.
That's a good pick.
Can I tell you the truth?
I've
always been partial to My Steez.
Okay.
I like My Steez was always my shit. Like, when Moment of Truth comes on and Guru does that intro, which I still think is one of the best intros ever, and that beat drops, I'm like, this is what rap's supposed to sound like. That's what that beat was for me. It's like, no, this is what hip hop sound like.
Yep.
Right.
So My Steez is what comes to mind. Yeah.
No doubt. Okay.
Ready for this Illmatic talk? Is that where we going? We going to the Illmatic 30 talk, or we got something else on the docket, Sean? What we got?
Let's go to the Illmatic 30 talk. I know we have some assignments to get this off real quick, but let me do this real fast, fellas, respectfully. Yo, you're now tuned in to the Queensbridge finest, Queens Wolf. We're gonna do this the right way. I had to get them guys off. We're not representing West Virginia. We're not representing Charlotte or Atlanta. We're going straight to Queens, baby. So I just want to get my shit off real quick. I'm just messing with y'all, man. I'm messing with y'all. We
got AG. We gotta find a way to get the controls from this nigga.
He doing like public service announcements. Like, what's he doing, bro? Like, come on, now. He put on the Queen shirt. He started feeling himself. Pause. Like, what is wrong with this dude?
I'm gonna tell you what, these Queens niggas, you want to know I get with these, I get along with these Queens niggas because they hate the Yankees just as much as I do as an Atlanta Braves fan. But this nigga, wow.
Yo, Queens, get the money. No,
Yo,
but
hey, cool. Oh God, I ain't even gonna lie. I thought we had an ad placement, bro. I was like, we got sponsors.
Nah, look here.
I didn't know we had sponsors.
We are going to get ad placement. We just got to run these subs up. So everybody make sure y'all click like and subscribe to Hip Hop Talks. We about to be everywhere. We're on every digital platform, soon to be. We're on every social media platform. We about to do a full out and all out run. That was wild, though. Let's get to this.
I thought Sean was about to do an ad for Prize Picks or something like that. I didn't know what was going on.
Yo, I was about to hit that freestyle on him.
Look, I thought he was about to do a DraftKings one because the NFL draft around the corner.
Yeah, that wasn't in the playbook. I don't know what Sean doing, man. He done had too much to drink.
No, this nigga Peyton Manning at the line. He up here calling Omaha and shit. Omaha.
Oh man,
I call it crazy Omaha. I did a Mike D on y'all, but yo, pause.
Pause.
So Illmatic 30. Illmatic 30.
Illmatic 30.
Yeah.
So for Illmatic 30, as you guys know, for those who don't know, Nas is doing a lot of stuff. July 19th, he would be actually at the Palace Theater. You guys know, whoever been to one of these concerts, he's actually going to go back to the National Symphony Orchestra as well. The 30th anniversary of Illmatic. We might be giving out some tickets from Hip Hop Talks. We'll let you guys know. Continue to check us out on Twitter, on all the platforms that we are utilizing, and we'll put some notes out there, let you know we're going to do some tickets for you all for 30th anniversary of Illmatic and National Symphony Orchestra. This will be Nas' third time doing the National Symphony Orchestra, which is really, really heavy. Think no other artist has an album like this that's being played on that kind of scale. You know what I mean?
For that kind of audience.
On that kind of audience, playing an album like Illmatic. That tells you how important Illmatic is, not just to hip hop culture, but just to everybody, to everything, because it paints so much a vivid picture of the life of anyone in that particular arena, which is, Nas is speaking from a Queensbridge perspective, but it's synonymous to every other hood, no matter where you're from. So the fact that Son is going to be playing at the National Symphony Orchestra again, and also commemorating the 30th anniversary of Illmatic, it's a major feat. Definitely, we'll let you all know what that's looking like as far as tickets and things of that nature that we may be giving out. There's some good fans out there, but we'll definitely be keeping that posted for you all. So
I want to say to that, like, that's something to really behold, man. Like, if you can't afford to go to the show, or we're close to where Nas is going to be performing with the symphony orchestra, if you got Amazon Prime, hop on there and check out Nas performing at the Kennedy Center with the orchestra, because they filmed it and they have it on Amazon Prime as a movie. Like, it's really a dope experience to see him perform that in front of a live orchestra in its entirety at that. So it's a crazy experience. I'm glad he's doing that again. For real.
Well, I'm glad that he's doing the Palace Theater in Albany, because that's upstate, and them upstate niggas love some boom bap, and this is the boom bap rap album.
This is the one.
So it is the one. And he's also doing the Rhode Island Philharmonic. And I think that's going to be in Rhode Island. That's going to be at the Vet Memorial Auditorium. And here's how important this album is. I want people to understand this. The woman who is the orchestra director for the Rhode Island Philharmonic, her name is Tanya Miller. Tanya Miller is the youngest conductor ever of a Canadian orchestra when she was 33 years old. And so he is standing next to the accomplished of the most accomplished in their respective fields. This woman is the youngest person, not woman, youngest person ever to lead the Canadian orchestra. And so think about somebody for the world that she comes from that sees Nas and sees Illmatic and is like, yeah, come over here. Like the symphony that the youngest symphony she ever run is the Victoria Symphony in Vancouver, leading a band over 50, a 50-piece band at 33 years old. And so he's standing next to people who are legendary and iconic in their respective fields as well. Yep. And so, like, we as hip hop fans need to understand the transition and how really epic it is for somebody from our culture to be standing next to a woman like that, as accomplished as she is for as long as she's been accomplished. When the former director of the Rhode Island Philharmonic passed, she was immediately named interim director. So like she comes with immediate cachet and respect, although she's Canadian.
Yep.
That's dope info, Coop.
Good. Yeah.
You know, I do my research. You know, I got to do my research.
You need your homework.
I got to do my homework.
You can't be prepared. Always. Yo, Mike here would have been spinning when you was talking that. He would have been like, yo, what is that? But nonetheless, let's keep it moving. Oh, that's for AG.
Oh, wow.
He would have been like, yo, what's going on?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm a drinking. So cool. So talk to us about the bar work for Illmatic, man, because the bar work is, to me, is the highlight of the album. You know, talk to us about that, man.
I think in order to understand lyrically where he's at, we have to understand the past first. You know what I'm saying? And so I always tell people, Illmatic isn't 95, isn't 94 on. Illmatic is 86 to 94. Like, it encompasses that era, that movement, and that feeling. And this is the best way that I can describe it to people. I've been fortunate enough to like go to Italy and to like see the Sistine Chapel and see the frescoes on the ceiling. I'm big into the arts, not just hip hop. Like, I love poetry. I love, you know, painting, sculpting, like I'm into all that. When you go into the Sistine Chapel, the famous painter and sculptor and, you know, just avant-garde Raphael was slated to do the Sistine Chapel first. Raphael still has one of the best hands in the history of painting and art. Okay. And so when you go into the Sistine Chapel, the first half of the Sistine Chapel that you see is actually Raphael's work. It's super detailed. It's very, 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 very complex. It's high level shit. Okay. And so in this instance, 86 to 94, we have a lot of Raphaels. We have a KRS-One. We have a Rakim. We have a Cool G Rap. We have a Big Daddy Kane. We have a LL Cool J. We have a Slick Rick. We have a Chuck D. We got us some Raphaels. When you get to a certain part of the Sistine Chapel, the hand doesn't change that much, but the hand gets a little bit more slightly defined and the color scheme gets better. That's because Michelangelo finished the Sistine Chapel. And no disrespect to Raphael, because he's one of the greatest painters of all time. But Michelangelo is probably the best painter of all time. And you don't understand how truly immaculate and brilliant and great Michelangelo is until you see how he leveled up what Raphael did. And he was actually a protege of Raphael. Illmatic is our portion of the Sistine Chapel that Michelangelo did. It's like, oh no, we've got guys that have operated on that level, but not quite with the same hand and not quite with the same full scope of understanding how to use color schemes. The color schemes on Illmatic are that vivid imagery that we're talking about on New York State of Mind. Yep. It's different. It's a level up from his predecessors. Yep. Now, at the time, nobody wanted to admit it, but as time has shown, time is Illmatic. Raphael is not better than Michelangelo. Nobody in Italy believes that either. Trust me, I had the conversation. The color schemes and the detail, like the detail between Raphael and Michelangelo is similar. So in this case, if you wanted to use Rakim as an example. Mm-hmm. Oh no, the hand is similar. The hand is all-time great and brilliant. But the colors that Michelangelo used, it pops more. It stands out more. And that's what Illmatic is. Illmatic is Michelangelo's portion of the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah, that's a dope analogy. For real.
It is. That's what it is. Like, it's not like the Sistine Chapel didn't exist before, but there's something about the way Michelangelo used the color that it just hit us different.
It's updating the formula, you know?
Updating the formula. And so it's as special as it gets, is what I'm saying. If you ever get, I encourage anybody, if you ever get the opportunity, even if you want to go, don't want to go to Italy, it's like, motherfucker, go to France and fly over for a day and go see what I'm talking about. You will see the difference in the hand. It's just the elevation and the process of it. Nas is the elevation, and the process of the high level lyricism that Big Daddy Kane and Rakim and Cool G Rap and all those guys birthed. He is the updated formula. Illmatic is the centerpiece of that. And so it is literally, and people understand this. This is an album that I still consider to be the greatest rap album of all time. And a lot of people feel the same way. It sold 63,000 copies this first week. It didn't go gold until January of 1996, almost 2 years after its release. There's never been an album in any genre of music that is revered the way that this album is, that doesn't have the sales attached to it. And that's part of what makes it so important. It's also our quality control album, guys. It's the album that says numbers may not lie, but they don't mean everything.
Facts. Facts.
This is the album where you can stake that claim on. This is the album where you say, oh, I don't care how many fucking units you moved. Can you take that shit to the neighborhood? What the niggas in the neighborhood say about it? Like, let's look at an album that came out 6 months before, Doggy Style. Oh, Doggy Style did 5 mil. Illmatic's quality and critical acclaim and the way it's revered, you would think Illmatic did 5 million too.
Right.
And that is mostly because this guy is rhyming at a level that, quite frankly, we have not really seen outside of Rakim's prime and Biggie's prime and his own prime, which transitioned into 96. It is the best collection of rhymes that you can understand that come from a complex place and a complex structure in a man's mind that we can all relate to. This is the album that lyrically is succinctly New York. But I say this as somebody who's from Atlanta and from Charlotte. Oh no, I felt like he was talking about the neighborhoods I grew up in. I know niggas in Houston that feel the same way. Niggas in Cali that feel the same way. And that's what puts it lyrically ahead of all those other projects from New York rappers before. Because the way he described those Queensbridge projects, it sounded like all our projects. And the hardest thing for a great writer to do is to connect with the audience. And never has there been a high-level lyrical album that connects with this culture and the fabric of who we are in hip-hop the way Illmatic does. There hasn't been an album like it before it. There hasn't been like an album like it since. And there's not about to be. It is the greatest rap album that's ever been made. Period, point blank. For that reason, when that shit wasn't selling, go to any fucking hood. It's like, yo, he talking like it's my neighborhood. Yeah. I know niggas that don't like Nas. I know niggas down here that's like, yo, I don't fuck with Nas. I'll be like, how you feel about Illmatic? Be like, that's that shit.
Right.
I said I didn't like Nas. I didn't say I didn't like Illmatic. Don't nobody. When have you ever heard somebody say Illmatic's not a classic?
Never.
Where? We can go to fucking Omaha, Nebraska right now, my nigga. There are niggas that know how to quote that shit.
And that's a fact. And it's coming from the pen of somebody. He penned that when he was like 18, 19 years old. You know?
Yeah. So it's rap's best album. It is the connective tissue for us in every hood and every neighborhood. Like, he might come from the largest housing project in America, but he explained all our housing projects in that album. Right. And he explained it masterfully, intricately, and he expressed it with just enough despair and somber tone that we all gravitated towards it. It's like, oh no, that dark cloud is over me too. That dark cloud on the world is yours. It's like, oh no, that's over me. Oh, it's like, oh, there's shootouts in your neighborhood. That's funny. A nigga just got shot the other day in my neighborhood in front of me. You know what I'm saying? He talked about things that were relatable to us coming from our neighborhoods, but he talked about it on such a high level without going over our heads. It is literally the most magnificent feat in the history of hip hop to talk at a high level without going over anybody's head.
To anybody. To your point, Coop, I had been to New York as a youth, but Illmatic came out when I was 13, and listening to that album made me understand New York from the imagery more than actually stepping foot in New York prior to that. You know what I mean? That's what his pen did for me anyways.
Yeah, but he did that. But that's what I mean. That sentiment that you share, that's the worldwide and the nationwide sentiment about this album. It is the only rap album that we have like that. It is the only rap album like There are niggas in New York that don't love Aquemini the way niggas in the South love Aquemini. There are niggas in the Midwest that don't love Doggy Style the way niggas on the West love dog. You get what I'm saying? There are a lot of niggas that still ain't even listened to Paid in Full by Eric B and Rakim. Everybody fucks with Illmatic in every fucking neighborhood in every part of the country because he was talking to us and through us about his neighborhood, but he made it sound like our neighborhood too.
Absolutely.
It's the most impressive job of lyricism, not the best. It's the most impressive job of lyricism that's ever been recorded on mic.
Absolutely. Well said, Cool. Well said.
No doubt.
Yo,
you smoked that.
You smoked that.
Can I submit something to you that I don't think I realized till today? I wear pink a lot. I wear pink a lot for my cousin Shonda. She died of breast cancer a few years ago. She was like my big sister, although she was my cousin.
Condolences, man.
When she died, I cried, but it wasn't until a little bit after she died that it changed the way that I felt and the way that I approach things. The guy that is rapping on One Time for Your Mind and Halftime, you never see that guy again. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact of what happened to Ill Will. And I think Ill Will's passing, not when he passed, the vitriol and the braggadocious rhyme was probably still there, but when death settles on you for somebody so close, that reflective and poignant style that the rest of Illmatic has outside of Halftime and One Time for Your Mind, I think there's a direct correlation between him losing his best friend, who was his DJ, and it switched his style because it switched his mood. Like, I ain't been the same since Shonda died. Like, emotionally, it did something to me where it's kind of like,
Yeah. Jungle said he got real serious after that, you know. So,
right. So all the bragging rhyme shit stopped, and the introspective lyrics that made Illmatic what it is began to take shape.
Right.
Halftime and One Time for Your Mind are the Large Professor produced tracks. Outside of It Ain't Hard to Tell, they're the early tracks. Illmatic got built around the Large Pro tracks. Right. So Ill Will's death has something to do with the somber style that we see.
That's a good observation.
That's what death does to you. That's what death does to you when somebody you love and you're so close to. Like, it might affect you right now in the sense that you might cry, but it might change your whole fucking mood and tone after a while.
Absolutely.
That's a great observation. Great observation.
That's good stuff, Cool. Appreciate you, Cool. Yo, AG, I'm gonna flip it to you, bro. Talk to us about the production. Talk to us about just having that first setup when it comes down to a super producer. That was probably an embodiment of the first era of our super producers on one album.
Right.
That,
yeah, just piggybacking off of that, like Illmatic in general set the tone for a lot of different things going forward in the culture with the trends. Prior to that, and you know, everything is just a cycle. It comes back around. We're seeing that present day people doing one producer, you know, one artist albums, which was the format, you know, in the late 80s, early 90s, you know, up into Illmatic. But Nas was such a prodigy that all the best of the best wanted to work with him. You know what I mean? So coming up under Large Pro, you know, Large Pro was able to introduce them to the Pete Rocks, the Premiers, and the Q-Tips, and get them to want to contribute to the album. Like, they was all, you know, happy at the chance to do that because they saw the potential that Nas had and knew that he was going to be the second coming of Rakim, that he was the chosen one. And the only person in recent years I know that said no to being on the album was Eric Sermon. I believe he said in the interview that he could have been on Illmatic and chose not to with, you know, whatever else he had going on at the time. But, you know, they all came together for a very singular purpose, you know, to create a classic, you know, and that's hard to do when it's a lot of hands on deck, you know what I mean? To have one singular vision and then to execute that vision. And we talk about the competition in hip hop, you know, with the battling, they was battling each other on the Illmatic album. I remember hearing Premier say he heard, you know, Q-Tips beat for One Love, like, yo, I got to go change my drums up on Represent, or I got to, you know, switch this up, switch that up, because they wanted to give Nas all their best. And, you know, going forward, that template of getting the best producers in the game to come together for like one MC that went forward, and a lot of people tried to adopt that style. It was successful for some people, and other people it wasn't. But like the Blockbuster joint just came out, but a little while ago. But I mean that format. But that format overall was created with Illmatic, which also set other trends going forward, like the baby on the album cover, and which was adopted by Lil Wayne did it, and then I mean it's countless. We could sit here all day and name artists that did the child picture on the album cover. So it just created a lot of trends in hip hop, and then in real time, I remember the only gripe people ever had about Illmatic was the length of the album, but the producers got in there and they trimmed the fat and said, this is all we're going to come out with, a perfect 10 tracks. And then once again, you fast forward to present day, you see more of those concise records. You had the Kanye run where he was doing the 7-song albums, and then you're seeing Griselda put out 8, 9, and 10 track albums. So Illmatic was the template for a lot of things moving forward, whether if it was in the early 90s, right, when it came out, or if it came back full circle some years later. But, it's the standard bearer for a lot of things in hip hop, and the production template was one of those.
No doubt, no doubt. Very well said, AG. Very well said, bro. So we talked about the lyrics. We talked about the production. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the impact and how it impacted New York at that time. Those of you who are either from New York or from outside of New York or just were watching from the sidelines, New York was at a fever pitch in 93, 94. And it's funny because Illmatic dropped 4 days after my born day. I remember before Illmatic came out, there was such a buzz about this kid out of Queensbridge. No one knew who he was. No one knew his name. No one really knew exactly what was going on. We called him Kid Wave. We were saying like, yo, who is this kid named Kid Wave? Being out of Corona, we was looking at it like, yo, Kid Wave is some kid over there doing graffiti and breakdancing. We think he a lyricist, but we don't know. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where we were trying to figure out where this buzz was coming from. You heard him on Live at the Barbecue. You heard him on Back to the Grill. You heard him on different joints that was coming out. Even the Zebrahead soundtrack. That's when Halftime came out, before the album even came out in 94. So you knew what you had in him, but you just didn't know what was going to happen and when it was going to come. Because during this time, the thing about, hip hop during this time, we were still transitioning or trying to keep from the transitioning of the West Coast. The West Coast had everything on lock. And Wu-Tang came out, 93. So in 93, you had the West Coast transition, you had Doggy Style, you had the Chronic still taking place everywhere. Chronic and Doggy Style was all on MTV, videos and everything. Wu-Tang came through with a whole different surge that brought the grittiness back. And here comes Illmatic in the middle of all of that in April of 94, April 19th to be exact. And now you got something that's taking it back to the essence of MCing that we've never seen before since Rakim. And now everyone is saying this guy sounds like Rakim, a little bit of Coogee rap, but he also got that radical approach in a sense of an Ice Cube. So now you're talking about the embodiment of some of the most prolific lyricists during that time, bridging the gap. Everyone in Queens and outside of Queens felt like at that time that hip hop was going through a whole transition, because now you're talking about bridging the gap. And it's funny that Nas had a song called Bridging the Gap, because during that time, I felt like he's bridging the gap from the boom, from the bass feel to the boom bap. And now we're all here to the genesis of Illmatic. And the vibration in the city was so crazy because New York didn't catch up to Illmatic. I'm gonna be completely honest. A lot of times I talk to people from that era, we didn't catch up to Illmatic until It Was Written came out. When It Was Written came out, I circled back to Illmatic. You know what I mean? I had Illmatic on a black cassette that somebody wrote on it saying Illmatic, because we couldn't keep up. We didn't know what this guy was talking about. We heard the Genesis intro, it was the Wild Style joint. We're like, yo, what is going on here? So it was hip hop at its purest form, in the most purest form that you can find at that time. And it came out during a time where hip hop was really trying to figure out what direction it was going to go into. Because you think about, again, Doggy Style, The Chronic, the sonics in those albums was so vast, and it was so robust that it took hip hop to a different sphere. So now Illmatic comes back. You have a collection of producers who we consider the Mount Rushmore producers during that time, never done before, never had all of these guys on one album. Now you got this child prodigy who's writing this album starting at the age of 16 of its inception of Illmatic, and now he's piecing together a classic. He's piecing together a masterpiece, as Scoop eloquently been able to articulate to us. And like AG mentioned, the production piece brought it all together to bring what we have now today. The impact for me as a young boy during that time, it was more of a renaissance for New York hip hop, because now it changed the trajectory of everybody coming after. It changed the trajectory of the Bigs, of the Jays, even from Wu-Tang. They had to change their trajectory because now they got this young kid from Queensbridge writing something so prolific, line for line, bar for bar, and he's paying a close attention to the details of what he's saying from a Queensbridge perspective, like Coop mentioned, but it resonates from every borough, from every city, and also across the nation, because now you can identify what he's saying. When he's saying my man got shot, when he's saying that my man went to jail and his girl cheating on him, some people from different areas can identify with that. But he's talking about everything that he's seeing within Queensbridge. Not what he's seeing in the world. He's talking about what he's seeing in Queensbridge. So again, one of the things that stands out to me for this, as we continue to bring this to a full circle, when you talk about the lyrics, when you talk about the production, when you talk about everything that it captures, Illmatic is the perfect capsule that if I were to put it together right now and said 30 years from now, 40 years from now, someone asks me, what is hip hop? I'm at my old age and I'm, giving the kids the knowledge. I'm gonna say, go listen to Illmatic. You will know everything you need to know about the real true golden era of hip hop, because now I'm bridging everything from that 88 legacy. I'm taking all of that with me, but I'm going to amplify it. 88 was the legacy year. 93, 94, Illmatic was the amplification of that. Nas amplified 88 legacy and it stopped right there. And then everything else boomed after that. It was like the Big Bang Theory. It boomed after that, because now you got Ready to Die coming out. You got Reasonable Doubt coming out. You have other things that came out, and now we're here.
Nah, you spitting, and that echoes Coop's sentiments, because I always tell people it's hip hop before Illmatic and it's hip hop after Illmatic. So if you're introducing somebody to hip hop, you start at Illmatic, and you can go either backwards or forwards.
Right. You can go either way. It closed the book on an error. Right. And then it opened up but the closing of that book is what opened the floodgates for the next era to step in, because here was the reality of the matter. That album was so fucking good. Niggas knew that they couldn't do that anymore. You had to do something different, because you couldn't fuck with that album.
Yeah. You can't.
Now I know. Now I want people to understand something. I saw somebody bring up It Takes a Nation of Millions, which I think is the top 5 rap album and one of the few albums that's in conversation with Illmatic for greatest rap album of all time.
No doubt.
It Takes a Nation of Millions is a dissertation on the black condition in America.
Facts.
Illmatic is the kid that's living the black condition in America and expressing it to us.
Bingo.
He's expressing the black condition. And also I want people to understand this, because It Takes a Nation of Millions has a lot of Farrakhan attached to it. You have to understand it did not resonate in the South, because this is more of a Christian-based Bible belt. Bingo. Because of that, Illmatic did not have that veil hanging over it, so it penetrated in areas that It Takes a Nation of Millions did not. Because of that, it's the kid expressing the black condition and disseminating it and living the condition. It Takes a Nation is the breakdown of the condition from an articulate, almost like Chuck D is like a professor on It Takes a Nation of Millions. And this is what I mean about Nas not going over our head. It's like, no, you might see that nigga on the corner standing next to you at the bus stop. You don't feel that way about Chuck on It Takes a Nation. Chuck is talking from up here on It Takes a Nation. He talking from the top. Nas is talking like he's standing on the street corner with you.
Right. I'm there with you.
Right. And that's the difference. That's the difference.
And can I go on a quick tangent for the legacy of this? Get a quick ISO. This is the Coop's point. He said that everybody had to do something different because they know they couldn't do that, right? But what pisses me off about this whole situation is it's Nas's greatest achievement, his crowning moment, but it's also the darkest cloud that hangs over his head because people won't allow him to do something different. We've never heard anybody say 20 years into Snoop's career, like, yo, Snoop, we need another Doggy Style. We expected another Doggy Style out of you. Yeah. Same thing with Raekwon. Nobody's asking Raekwon for another Cuban Links. But Nas isn't afforded that same grace, and I don't, quite understand that. And people say when they're debating me, like, well, Nas never outdid Illmatic. He peaked early or whatever. They try to flip the narrative. Well, neither did your favorite rapper.
How about this? AG, none of their favorite rappers outdid Illmatic either. That's the part people need to understand. Your favorite rapper didn't outdo Illmatic.
Exactly. So he hasn't redone it, but your favorite rapper hasn't even done it at all. You know what I mean? So that's the thing that bugs me. It's that weird dichotomy about Illmatic that people have. Like, it's the standard bearer, it's the mountaintop, but they won't let Nas move past it. At one point, he was even getting frustrated at around the 25th anniversary and said, let's, move past Illmatic. But I'm glad he's opened up to celebrating it again for the 30th. But at the same time, the fans just need to let him evolve. This was a 19, 20-year-old kid whose circumstances changed, Like Nas even said on Locomotive, he said, I've been, rich longer than I've been poor, I guess. You know what I mean? Because you look at his career, he was out of there at 19, 20 years old. So they need to let him evolve as a man. So you can hold Illmatic as a standard bearer, but don't hold it over Nas's head like something that he has to achieve again in his career to be stamped or be verified. You know what I mean? Because... go ahead, Coop.
Well, AG, I don't mean to cut you off. What really happened is that he touched such a poignant fabric in all of us, in Black America, in inner city angst, that the streets just never really wanted to let him go. Nobody else, like Jay is talking from the perspective of a hustler in the streets. You get what I'm saying? He's not talking about the streets the way Nas is. He's talking about the perspective of a hustler in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Chuck B is talking about the Black condition the way a professor would at Columbia, or at Harvard. You get what I'm saying? Big is talking about his struggles during the daytime, but he's going to party at night. Right? You know what I'm saying? Nas is talking about our condition in the daily, and the streets never wanted to let him go. That's what happened.
The ghetto reporter. And that's why when I was 13 years old, my favorite rappers were Ice Cube #1 and Scarface #2 until I heard Illmatic. And then that changed from that point on. Since the time I was 13 to now, Nas has been my favorite rapper of all time. But
AG, it goes back to, like you were saying before, you and I had this talk before, like Illmatic is like that raw, uncut crack. Never been stepped on, and everybody got that feeling from it, and they were chasing that feeling since then. It's like a fiend getting shot up. I don't want to make it too morbid, but like a fiend getting shot up, and like, yo, I'm chasing that high.
No, so I'm gonna be honest with you.
Fiend chasing that high.
No, so I'm gonna tell you something. That's exactly what it is, Sean. Because I'm gonna tell you what, I've been some places and I've done some things, and so I've been to the country that has the most pure and uncut cocaine in the world, okay? Because my best friend lives there. Oh, you'll never go there and try their product and then come back here and touch any of the product here because you're like, oh, this shit been stepped on 20 fucking times. That's what Illmatic is. It's the product that hasn't been stepped on. And once you taste a product that hasn't been stepped on, it changes the way that you deal with other products moving forward. It's like, I'm not doing that fucking little penny ante shit that y'all doing. I done had the real deal.
Right. Cool. You can't find it anywhere else. You're searching for it. Think about that first. I ain't gonna say that, but you're searching for that. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I need to get that again. And you searching for it, like AG search for all the time. But I mean,
you wild, John. You wild. Yeah. But let me ask y'all this: do y'all think that that's the reason? Since he is the one person that provided that uncut raw, that's the reason why it's held over his head versus anybody else. Like Jay don't have to make another Reasonable Doubt, right? And so you're going to go to the supplier of that uncut raw and say, yo, I need that again. So do you think that gives some credence to the people still wanting that Illmatic after all this time? Because that level is not put on nobody else but Nas.
Because you can poke holes, pause, in Reasonable Doubt if you really want to. You can actually poke holes at Ready to Die, to be quite honest.
You can.
And
absolutely.
You also think about the fan base too. The Nas fan base is a very interesting and eclectic fan base, respectfully. And they have become Nas' enemy in some aspect, to be quite honest. Because
they're his greatest ally, but sometimes his worst enemy.
Absolutely. Jay fans will ride regardless. No matter what Jay dropped. Jay dropped 444 and they still ride with Jay. And we know what 444 is and what it's not.
They let Jay evolve.
They let him evolve.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They let Jay evolve because Jay came like this. And so they gave him the ability to go like this. Nas came like that.
Yes.
From the jump.
Yes.
And so him trying to go into a lane when he talked like this first, and then he's like, well, I'm gonna go here this time, and then I'm gonna go there. Right. They like, no, you're supposed to go right here, and it's like, no, fam, you can only go there once.
But see, this is what bugs me though, because people like to call Good Kid, Mad City the West Coast Illmatic because of how poignant it is, and it gives the full Compton experience, right?
I do that.
Nobody is asking Kendrick to make another Good Kid, Mad City. Like,
okay, so I'm one of those people that say that, AG, and I'm gonna say this respectfully about Good Kid, Mad City. It's because Kendrick is the first person to come out of that region to explain the Black condition in such a poignant manner. But that's not how they get down either, and that's why they let him spread his wings.
Right.
You feel me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You have to understand the time in which things happen also matter too, because here's the reality of the matter. It's like, well, they've already been indoctrinated by Ice Cube and Easy and Dre and 40 and Short, and none of them talked like that. Nas is a composition of the guys that talked before him. You can hear the Chuck D. You can hear the Cool G rap. You can hear the Rakim. And because you can hear those pieces mixed with his own experiences, it makes people hold on to it differently. When you're listening to Kendrick on Good Kid, Mad City, there ain't no Tupac or no Ice Cube on there.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But here's the like I said, it's the weird dichotomy, and we all three in here are fathers. You know what I'm saying? Proud fathers at that. And not to get too deep, but I look at Illmatic for him is like, you know, having your first fathering your first child, right?
Yeah.
As a man, I think for me anyway, having my son was like, well, you know, his mother had him, but you know, having a son was my greatest achievement, right? You know what I'm saying? So as a father, I'm sticking my chest out like, yo, this is the thing I'm most proud of. But in some cases, you know, some parents have children that are problem childs, you know, give them a lot of issues and, you know, a lot of hardships going through life, but you love them unconditionally because that's your child. So where on one hand, that might be your greatest crowning achievement as a parent, birthing your first child, but on the same time, like that child did nothing but gave you like strife, you know, their whole existence. I feel like that's what Illmatic in a lot of ways is for Nas. It's his greatest achievement, and it's that dark cloud that he talks about over his head because We put that on him, you know. So it's a tough place to be in.
Well, he's in a hard place because here's the reality of the matter.
Yeah,
it was written in 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, because it spent 4 weeks at #1 on the rap charts. Literally tripled the sales that Illmatic had in 4 weeks.
Facts.
When that happened, I knew even back then when I was 15 going on 16, I was like, oh, there's not a chance in hell we're getting Illmatic again.
He's out of here.
That's gone. That's over. That ended when the idea of getting Illmatic again ended when it was written, spent 4 weeks at #1 in the summer of '96.
No, it ended at the 95 Source Awards. That's where it ended. At the 95 Source Awards.
See, I don't think
those awards.
I don't think it's dead yet then, because we still have Taken in Blood and Silent Murder and I Gave You Power and Live Nigga Rap and The Setup. But when he made If I Rule the World and that shit popped,
he's out of here.
Yeah.
Two fingers.
I'm
Four fingers.
To even ask that of him was asking a lot. You know what I mean? He can tap into that when he wants to. I mean, I think will y'all agree that Magic kind of proved that a little bit? You know, the aesthetic of Illmatic, so to speak. But
Magic to me proved that the high level lyricism that he could provide still existed within him, because he had not rapped at that level lyrically, in my opinion, since Stillmatic. And so he was literally almost 2 decades removed from performing like that lyrically. And when you spend that long between that gap, it's going to be easy for your fan base to say, it's like, oh, well, he don't got that in the bag anymore. And then when Magic comes out, you realize this has been a conscious effort by this dude to separate himself from that.
No doubt. Word. I sat with that for a long time. Like when I was 16, 17, I sat with that for a minute, because it was written with for me, it was written so potent that it elevated everything. You think about this, and this is no disrespect to the legend, Rod, to the legend, Kool G Rap, Corona Finest. Nas is kind of in that vein, right? And he should have been more on the side of the Rod and the Kool G Rap. I want to say this the wrong way, man, but that aesthetic that Nas came with Illmatic was more underground based. Nas was never designed or set up to be a global superstar.
Right. He
didn't have that personality or that charisma that a Snoop had, right? To be global. That puffy in the background to thrust big pause into that global status, if you will, of hip hop.
He's more of a Langston Hughes type of character.
Yes.
Langston Hughes was around Harlem, around all the big stars, and he was a star too, but he was the quiet star around all those Harlem Renaissance guys.
Exactly. Cool. So he's really an anomaly, because it was written sold the way it sold. Even you go back to I Am did well.
Did almost gold in the first week. You know,
in the first
473,000 copies.
But he's very self-aware though. He said, "I'm over ground and underground that's never been seen."
So here's my analogy for that. Nas is actually where the baller and the backpacker meet, and that's where it lies. Where the baller and the backpacker meet is Nas.
Yeah, because he likes to be fly, all that, you know.
Yeah,
but he's the street dude.
Like the guys that love Kool G Rap love Nas, but the guys that love Kane love Nas. The guys that love Big and like he's the fabric of all those things. It's like, oh no, you a Chuck D, Rock M dropping knowledge type of nigga, Nas.
Right.
Oh, you a fly nigga or a street nigga like a Kane or a Kool G, Nas.
Yeah.
He connects those dots. Illmatic is the connection of all of that.
Right.
And so
to be radical, that's Nas. He's the crossroads to some of our most defined scholars of hip hop.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's where they all meet in a happy place.
Absolutely. He's a connected tissue to all of that.
Yep.
Right.
And that's what makes it more difficult for him, because the expectations are different for him than they are for his peers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you know, he also has it's kind of funny. Even some of where he's from is some of the drawback. He does come from the largest housing project in this nation.
Right.
Absolutely.
But to your point, Coop, about Illmatic not being a commercial smashed. Michael Jackson spent a lot of his career trying to recreate Thriller. You know what I'm saying? And he had great albums, but that's out of his own mouth. He was like, we got to outdo Thriller. We got to outdo this. And what I, really love and respect about Nas, he's comfortable enough in his own skin to say, like, I can do something different. I'm not going to give you the same album twice. I don't have to outdo Illmatic as far as that's concerned.
See, okay, but he's not in the same position as Mike because Mike has Off the Wall before Thriller. And most people from the generation previous to us will tell you that Off the Wall is better than Thriller.
Yep.
And so Mike has a legion of fans that are literally
the black crowd will.
The black crowd is like, I don't give a fuck about no Thriller over Off the Wall, nigga. So what?
Facts.
Nas don't have that. Nas has Illmatic. His Thriller is Illmatic.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson got Off the Wall. And the only reason Thriller exists is because they didn't give Mike Album of the Year for Off the Wall. And he literally said it himself. It literally is written down on paper that he said, since they pretty much shaded me out of an award that I deserve, I'm going to make myself even bigger and even better next time around.
Yep.
That's what Thriller is.
Self-manifestation, for real.
Self-manifestation. I'm going to be MJ. I'm going to be the biggest thing that ever existed in music now. Since you don't like me doing this black disco shit, in code, that's what he's saying. Since you don't like me doing this black disco shit, I'm going to show you that I can level up better than all them white people can, who you gave the award to instead of me. Mike's still a nigga. He from Gary, Indiana.
And that's what he did.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. Mike is a gangster. Mike was a gangster.
Mike from Gary, Indiana. You ever been to Gary before?
Yes.
I have it.
Yes.
Don't go.
They get busy out there.
Don't go. Yeah, don't go.
Don't go to Gary. They get busy.
And Gary niggas different.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So fellas, y'all want to wrap this thing? I think
expectations for the single tonight, Define My Name, which is obviously gonna have a mix and a scratch from Nas's Like.
Yeah.
Which is why it's the number 2 song on our countdown.
Okay, I already gave it to you, AG. I already gave it to y'all. What do you want? You want blood? Hold on. Do you want to take it in blood, AG? Do you want to take it in blood?
I like what you did there, Coop. I like what you did there. But I'm trying to go into the song cold, man, because going in there with crazy expectations can ruin the experience. And like I said before, I'm glad it's not an album, it's a single, and maybe it'll give us something to look forward to. But I'm just trying to go into it cold and hopefully be pleasantly surprised for real.
Let me ask you all something, seeing how we just did the Nas Primo collab thing. Where on this list does this song and this potential album need to rank for it not to receive vitriol? Like, does it need to be somewhere between a representing New York State of Mind level at number 5 and 6? Because I think the 1 through 4 is not a reasonable ask. It is not reasonable to ask him to do New York State of Mind. It's not reasonable to ask them to do New York State of Mind, Memory Lane, Nas is Like, and I Gave You Power. I believe that ship has sailed. So do you think the represent New York State of Mind 2 territory is a reasonable ask from both of these legendary producer and MC?
I think, it's going to get hate regardless from some pundits, to be honest. But if if they do come out with a project, if you got maybe 4 to 5 tracks that could knock the rest out of the bottom half of the top 10, I think that's like, all that we could ask for.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm just going to tell y'all the truth. I didn't want this album to happen, but not because I don't want to hear it and not because I'm not going to enjoy it. I don't want to hear this shit if it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Sean, I'll tell you this, because like for me, I'm like, yo, just do it just so you can shut everybody the hell up. Because everybody keeps talking about it. Just put it out so that's not hanging over your head. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully it's dope. But at the same time, I'm just like, yo, y'all, the beat narrative was a thing until Hit Boy came along and did 6 projects, and then those pundits shut up. And then everybody was like, Hit Boy albums was dope, but it wasn't Premier though. He should have did a whole album with Premier. So for me, I'm glad he's going to do it just so he can shut these people up one way or another.
This is what I kept saying about how special it was that Hit did. Hit did more tracks for Nas on King's Disease 1 than him and Preme have done this entire span of his career.
Yep.
And all Hit did was continue to level up and step his fucking game up.
Yep. It's just that the songs with Primo were such high highs that people can't let go of those, you know.
Nobody, but that's what I'm saying. It's not reasonable to ask a man in like year number 25 in the game to make some of the best rap songs of all time, which is what the top half of these Primo and Nas songs are. These are some of the best rap songs that have ever been made. That is not a reasonable ask in year 25. That is, you know what that is? That's asking LeBron 5 years from now to go win the ring. Not now at 39, but 5 years from now, LeBron still need to be playing and go win a ring.
Right.
It's like, nigga, what are you smoking?
But to your point, Coop, I think a lot of the reservation, and I say this respectfully, I think Nas has improved over the last 6 albums of what kind of bag he's in. I think a lot of the reservation was on the side of like what kind of production bag would Premier be in. Yep. So I think that was most of the reservation, not so much what Nas would do is what Premier would do. But I
don't care where you are, what you think about either of them. Both are top 5 all time in their profession, and that's not even like even if you don't have them at number 1
all time.
I got him at
number 2.
I got him at 3.
That's fair.
Yeah, I got RZA ahead.
I got RZA at 1. RZA's my number 1.
We got to do a
Dre
RZA
is my
show.
number 1.
Facts.
I got Dre, RZA, then Preme, and I mean, I think everybody knows.
We can't have RZA on the show. You and RZA talking at the same time will get mad confusing. Like, we can't even do that, bro. Like,
all I would hear is bong, bong, bong.
Bong, 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 bong. Yo, fellas, good show tonight. We're going to take the after party over to Station Head and play Illmatic for the fans over there on Station Head up until we get the single. Yo, y'all cooked tonight, fellas. We appreciate y'all. Some quick announcements. Lo will be back on the show next week. We couldn't hit Lo across the head tonight with the Nas talk, so he had to take a break off of this one. He would have got bodied tonight. Station Head tonight at 11:15. We're going to play the Nas Illmatic joint all the way up until the single come out. We also have, I want to make this announcement. We have the managing editor from Hip Hop DX will be sitting down with us to have an intense interview. Imagine Coop talking to the managing editor from Hip Hop DX. Coop didn't know this was going to come. I was holding this on to the side. So Coop, my gift to you is we got the managing editor from Hip Hop DX coming on the show, and we're going to have an intense conversation. Coop, hey Coop, I'm just saying, this is for you, my brother. Welcome to Hip Hop Talks.
No. It's better that you tell me this at the end. Absolutely. Hey, and don't forget, this episode will be out on all of our streaming platforms within the hour.
No doubt, absolutely. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon. Thank you all for the love. We appreciate you.
Yo, like and subscribe, y'all. Hit the notification.
Real quick. Are y'all conspiring against me? First, y'all bring you on Jay-Z's biggest fan, Lo, and now y'all got the music. There's a conspiracy going on against Coop.
Hey, we gonna get Lupe on here soon too, Coop.
First of all, don't do that. Don't do that.
You ain't seen nothing. We still. This is the warm up. This is the warm up.
Don't do that. Yo, I don't want to talk to him.
Oh, you got to.
Hey, Koopa, get ready to come out at the end of the show. Koopa Valley.
It's time to move to Station Head.
Let's do it.
Peace, fellas.
Peace, y'all.